Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Justing, and I think Logan might have eaten Grubby, so it's just us two. It's the, you know what? Grubby couldn't stand how much we love Cho'Gall. That's really what he said. During the break, he was like, no, I can't be around you guys. You guys like Cho'Gall too much, and I have to leave you. But Justing, we did have a little break right there. We had a nice little interview with Kyle and Legacy. What did you get up to on the break?
I was just spending some time with my girlfriend, who's spending some time here. So it's been fun.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm thinking that Grubby he might have went to go play some Cho'Gall. He couldn't contain himself because of how much fun it sounded like.
Yeah.
That's probably where he's at.
Yeah, I really can't blame him whatsoever. So when we get him back, we got him back. Grubby, how was your Cho'Gall game?
I won. How did you guys know?
Oh my god, that fast!
Yeah.
Not a surprise when
That's
you're
how
playing
fast it is.
Cho'Gall.
See?
It's like, 9 minutes. Let's queue up Storm League. It's enough, really.
Draft, execution, everything. So, nice place. But, of course, Grubby, what did you get up to on the break, actually?
We just talked about it.
You really? Okay, all right.
No,
Well-
I ate dessert. I had
that's the
little
thing is-
mini pancakes.
I wanna live vicariously through you because you usually eat something delicious. So that's why I was like, I gotta know what Grubby ate today. So some pancakes during CCL. That's a really good idea. I'll have to do that in the future. I just harassed Kai Berries about we've been talking about like the range of banana that you go for, like how yellow does it get, and of
A little
course
bit of mottled brown. I'm with you, Bahamut.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. It's got like a little bit like a sweeter flavor. Like the green bananas, they just that's awful taste. But Kai Berries, you're alone in this argument. I'm sorry. But let's talk about Ball Street, everybody. Let's talk about how it's up to you to get the best pick for the winning team as you're watching live on cclmarkets.com. It's free. If you pick wrong, you can sell shares. You can sell your shares and buy the other team before the match is over. CCL markets trade from 0 to 100, with shares of the winning team valuing at 100 and shares of the losing team expiring at 0. There's tons of prizes this season, so join and play during every Heroes CCL broadcast. But of course, we're not here to talk about just Ball Street. We're here, Justing, to talk about Simplicity's roster.
We sure are. We've got Apto playing the tank. Dulal is the ranged for the team. Burr, the offlane. Tiger JK, the newest addition to the roster, playing that flex position. Wishing playing the support, and Porky, the 6th member, also the tank player for the team. It'll be interesting to see whether we have Apto or Porky playing today on the tank, as we do have a bit of a roster shakeups quite a bit here for Simplicity as they're trying to find their footing in Season 4.
And over on the side of Granite Gaming, who are we going to be seeing here, Grubby?
We're going to be seeing Granite Gaming members. All of them, in fact. Azurite, Breeze, Poik, SMX, Wobby, and Quacknix. A blast from the past for those that have returned from some time of not watching competitive HoTS. First of all, shame on you. Secondly, hope you enjoyed your time doing other things. But yeah, there are a lot of legendary names here from the past. Nonetheless, they have not yet been able to cook up a victory. But the ceiling of performance from some of these members is some of the highest we've ever seen. Breeze, legendary tank. Poik, amazing Li Ming, and great tracer player. SMX was one of the best healers that we had, so he's not able to live up to that right now as of yet. Wooby was the most legendary solo laner. Nowadays, solo laning skill has caught up a lot though. Not dying and getting picked off, being unkillable, doing 1v3s. A lot of people are doing these things now on Hager and on the Haka, but in the past it was really only Wooby that stood in front of others. But I'd say that people like Liam are as good as Wooby ever was as well. So it is harder to distinguish himself. I think the offlane level went up a lot from 2017 and so on. But these members have good potential. The question is, can they get it done? So far they have not been able to, but now they're against Simplicity, who's also sharing the same score as they themselves.
Yeah, both teams sitting 0 and 4. Map record does have an effect of where they sit in 7th and 8th respectively, but as Grubby's alluded to, as we've been talking about throughout today, one of these teams will be finding their first series victory in Season 4. Let's go ahead and kick things off and find out where we're going to for map number 1, as we have had Granite Gaming choosing Alterac Pass. But if you're wondering how we got to Alterac Pass, specifically Justing, I know you were telling me in the break, you're like, I don't know how we got to this map. Don't worry, I got you, bud. Simplicity won the coin flip. They opted for first pick priority, and they banned out Garden of Terror. Granite Gaming banning out Dragonshire. Justin, do you feel like I've caught you up as to how we got here?
I'm very caught up,
thank
and
you.
I know exactly how we got here, and I know how Granite has picked Alterac Pass, which is a very big map.
Yes.
A map with a very strong objective, and it's also a map where you can solo boss if you're Dino.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of soloing bosses on Dino, we just did a Tracer video this past week with Kyle Ferguson and Dino on that Towers of Doom map this past weekend. So if you are curious how Dino solos the boss on at least Towers of Doom, or even some intricate Tracer play that isn't just from Mockery, you can definitely head over to the HeroesCCL YouTube and check that out. And there is was that a $1,000 donation? That is, production just told me, $1,000 donation. We have broke $10,000 today because of your generosity. Thank you. Thank you so very much. We have broken a new milestone. We'll have to figure out, maybe tomorrow we'll have to figure out a way to get a furry friend on the stream. Might be a little too late today, but definitely we will get someone, one of our great animals on stream. Thank you seriously so much. That is a huge donation. That is a new milestone set for the season. So thank you all once again. But of course, let me reel things back over to this Alterac Pass map, because Justin, you had mentioned you can solo boss, but there's so many other things that you can do on this map beyond just the boss. I mean, the team fight around the objective is a critical standoff, if you will.
Yeah, it is, and if you're playing, privity playing, words are difficult. Probius exists, things like Probius exist, Hammer exists, things that play around the objective exist on this map. You can play a couple different styles. You can either play for objectives, you can play for just more boss and more macro, and play for picks. There's just a lot of different ways to play the map, and the objective, one of the strongest, if not the strongest objective in the game, especially into the late game. Granite Gaming is a team that I had a lot of high hopes for at the start of the season. I thought that they would kind of scale as the season progresses. We're about halfway through the season. I'm hoping to see Granite be able to start ramping up from here, and this would be the series that they'd have to take to be able to start doing that up against Simplicity. Probably talked about it. One of these teams will find their win today.
Indeed, as we're into the draft of Alterac Pass. Grubby, what you thinking about?
Lucio bans, Junkrat bans, Ogre maybe. You're gonna go with removing a Nubarak who can make summons to channel the objective without any help or delay, without needing to kill the prison guards. There's the Junkrat ban by the team that could first pick him if they wanted to. I find this to be a weakness, though maybe they feel like Junkrat is not offender number one. They want to see what Simplicity bans. It could actually be an info drop. If you leave Junkrat for the second ban team, they are the second ban team. Never mind. Granite is the second ban team, so that makes sense.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
No, that makes sense.
I will say this, because last weekend we did see Junkrat, and that was actually, there were 2 games back-to-back with Granite Gaming, and they just could not actually win with the Junkrat whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's I wonder if just Granite Gaming is like, we don't plan to play it, so let's just get rid of it. But some really good and critical bans coming out here. I wonder if there's any early Dahaka priority from either of these teams, Justin.
Yeah, Hogger is also available, so most likely the expectation is that we see a trade of some kind between them, assuming that both teams have kind of even priority. We have seen Wubby heavily prioritizing the Dahaka, and it is quite strong on the map here, with it is so large, being able to have that global value. The Hogger is picked up, which does a little bit better with the mid, with the null camps, being able to take those quickly. Dahaka does struggle to take them, so Hogger gets a big advantage there. The expectation is that if the Haka is not picked, it's in exchange for a priority pick. Brightwing is available, and Lucio has been banned, so that's kind of the expectation, is to see Brightwing and something. Whether the other pick is a Chromie for control over the objective, a Tychus, a tank pick. It is a tank pick. We have the Johanna and the Brightwing. Really strong picks from Granite so far.
I do like this, because you can also polymorph the Hogger, like, and kind of lock him in place when he is trying to spin around. Grubby, I know we're in the middle of a draft, but I am very curious. Is your mug like a Deathwing mug or something? Is that a dragon mug? Sorry, I glanced over. Okay, that is really cool. That's really cool. I saw that for a second. I was like, I have to ask him when I have the chance. But of course,
seems like a female Deathwing, kind of. If you
it does kind of. It also has like, it has a little bit of the face of like a Hydralisk from like the Zerg.
Yep,
a little bit of
the
Hydralisk
angular
face.
chin.
Yeah.
The angular chin of a Hydralisk.
But of course, we're not here to talk about StarCraft 2. Grubby, I do want to get your thoughts as well on what's unfolded in the draft.
Yeah, Johanna Brightwing is like the zero info draft, where you don't give anything away yet. That's how I like to see it. They're safe early picks. that don't push you in any direction. I find that Johanna is the tank that is most pickable without knowing your opponent's draft. You wouldn't even do that with a Nubarak or Diablo on most maps, first picking it. So it's the zero info draft. For simplicity, yeah, I think that's just a straight up pretty solid solid draft. Not much to say about it. They can go to Stitches. I don't love Hanzo Stitches together, so I'm not necessarily expecting that.
We have seen a lot of Rhaegar from Wishing, if I'm not mistaken, and also going into the Purification at level 7. So, lot of, I guess you could say comforts is what we've seen so far from the side of Simplicity. But we're getting into the second portion of the draft, and I do want to see what we get here before I do throw it over to Justin for a breakdown, because this is, it could be anything. As Grubby was saying, there's nothing shown. That's pretty strong, though, Justin.
Yeah, that's quite strong. Being able to get the Chromie, that is one of the higher priority picks for the map specifically. Depending on the spawn, you're able to basically stall out the first objective infinitely. And they pair that with the Sylvanas, which we've seen the priority fluctuate with quite a bit between being a first pick to being something that is just really good to get at any point in the draft. I think that Sylvanas, there's really no reason for Sylvanas to fall out of favor too much. She's kind of does everything. She's a very well-rounded hero. Her only real downside is that her range is relatively short, but they do make up for that with having the Chromie, so they're going to have some long-range poke, they're going to have objective control, and have a Sylvanas that can kind of split push. The expectation here is that we see a Yrel or a Dahaka, and it will be up to Grubby which one he takes. Or, up to Grubby. Up to Wubby. Up to Wubby. Grubby, which one will he take?
Dahaka.
I was like, Grubby gets he just gets to choose heroes. I want to be able to do that.
It's Gazlo, of course.
It really was up to me. I said Gazlo.
All right.
Wait a second.
Justin.
Script.
Yeah, Justin.
Thank you, Grubby, for picking Gazlo
problem.
here for Wubby.
No problem. I should have been more daring, even like Gaul, like no body, lol. Wow.
Yeah, so it's a Gazlo last pick. Picked here by
from
Wubby.
the mouth of babes, from the brain of babes comes some uncertain truths.
Very strange. Very, very strange. So Dahaka was available, Yrel was available. We'll go with neither. We're going to get the Gazlo here as the last pick. It is a lot of CC follow-up for the Johanna, for the Chromie, for the Brightwing. It's just a lot of control. On the side of Simplicity, you have a very tanky front line with a Hanzo as your solo ranged. That's very difficult to pull off into things like Johanna. Not going for another tanky frontliner and going for the Gazlo instead is quite brave for Granite. Just very strange drafts overall. Simplicity's draft, I'd say, it makes a little bit more sense. It's a little bit easier to play. But playing into Poik on Chromie with the slowing sands, with all those melees, might prove quite difficult for Simplicity if they're not able to have really clean, decisive engages. Which, that's not been something that Simplicity has had the best success with. Playing these heavy dive compositions in the past where they all need to be super coordinated, so we'll see if Poik is able to stop everything in its tracks. Comboing that with the Gazlo played by Wubby, it's a lot of CC, but both these comps have their pros and cons. It'll have to come down to gameplay.
Well, let's see what that gameplay looks like right now, because on the side of the Alliance, backed by Vandar, Storm, Pike, we have got the members of Simplicity, Dulal on the Hanzo, Wishing on the Rhaegar, Berber on the Hogger, Tiger JK on the Maev, and Porky to play the Muradin. Over in the red, backed by the better crew here, the Horde, we've got Drekthar's Army and Granite Gaming. We'll be on the Gazlo, Breeze on the Johanna, Smexy on the Brightwing, Poik on the Chromie, and Azerite to play the Sylvanas. I like a one-man wrecking crew. I'm going to lean into Granite Gaming, but actually the big thing for me here, Grubby, is the fact that you've got this Chromie, you've got the Sylvanas. Like 4/5 of this draft look really good to me. One of the picks is kind of...
Hey.
I'd like to see what happens is probably the better...
Are you ready to do what we do best?
No, I'm not. I'm not ready. No. I'm not at all. But I think Granite can take this one. I don't think it's going to be an easy one, but I think the Gazlo actually, post 10 will be pretty big for Granite Gaming, depending on the heroic. What do you think about these drafts and setup for Alterac Pass?
Little bit of history. Justin apparently in a broadcast said that he thinks Gazlo's tier 5 in competitive. Aki, who used to play for Diamond Hands, he went to practice Gazlo, and that's how I kind of know about the build that he likes. He's rank 1 in Europe, Aki, or at least was a couple of days ago. and he goes for this big game hunter level 1 talent. And he said, I think Gaslow is at least better than maybe Justin thought, and I'd like to show him wrong. But, you know, it's more like a challenge than that it's like fighting words. It's not fighting words, it's a challenge. So this was his build, and it's pretty much turret and scrap build. Every time you hit monsters, which is the prison guards, or mercs, which is the null pack camp, you gain scrap. Scrap is the resource that's used for turret production, and when you cannibalize turrets, you also get 1 scrap back. But they cost 4. So Big Game Hunter helps with that. So you're going to get a lot of turrets. We'll have to see how the rest of his build goes. You make a bunch of turrets. Guess what turrets do well? They do the same job as what the Nubarak does, which was Simplicity's first ban on this map. And I was thinking, yeah, you banned the Nubarak, but they're still Gaslow. Somehow, we'll be actually thinking the same thing. Pretty cool. As Tiger JK goes in with my FBD, actually, he misjudged Oik with the pure aim. That's the first kill here. Gets a nice kill, and Granite Gaming is off to a lot of structural damage. I think it's going to be Robogobo because there's so much CC on the side of Simplicity, and Robogobo allows you to run away from that. Black Hole is still possible, but I really think Wooby's job is just attack towers, be safe, do laning, set up some turrets, maybe get that level 16 mass turret laser creation for some nice 1k plus damage nuke.
I'm just skimming through other talents as well. Hanzo picking up the explosive arrow for some wave clear. Umbral Bind from Tiger JK onto Azerite, who gets the haunting wave out. We do have that magic spit for the Brightwing, which increases her range by 1.1, and also you have cooldown reduction on Soothing Mist. That should be the assumption is that we'll see critical miss at level 7, since there's that synergistical value between the level 4 and level 7 talents right there. So it's some of the things that we're seeing right now. Joanna is not going to be going Subdue, going to be going for Hold Your Ground. So you increase the duration by 2 seconds, or excuse me, you reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds, increase the Iron Skin shielding by 40%. More tanking for Breeze, it looks like. He wants to be able to activate trait and just live through all this pain, and it seems like it's working out right now in this engagement through mid.
Yeah, he wants to make sure that he doesn't get Umbral bound away. He's giving up extra slows on enemies, but instead he will be able to walk away from more danger. Pretty fine choice. It's a choice between aggression and defense. He has gone with the defense.
Berber. Okay, I thought Azerite was going to trigger the Haunting Wave and really dive in deep on that fort front gate, but Berber will have to hearth out, meaning Wubby, Azerite have free siege through bottom, and for anyone wondering, Black Arrow just now came off a cooldown.
Getting a little bit of shutdown there on buildings if he uses it, but doesn't seem like he needs it yet. This is a strong push. Note how this is continually the pattern, where it's Sylvanas and Gaslow. They decided to run this as a double lane in bot. This is quite a dedicated style that we don't usually see. We see a lot of adaptation by teams where sometimes someone is alone, sometimes it's with 2. This is very much a Gaslow, Sylvanas side push lane. Right wing in the top so that she could go bot as well. So it could suddenly be like 3-4 people in the bottom lane. I like it. It has netted them 2 turret kills already.
And this is kind of a sandwich sort of idea that Justin proposes from time to time. It's not exactly what he brings up, but essentially they're sandwiching. They have a single person in top, a single person in bottom, and then everyone in mid. But as Grubby's pointing out, Azerite keeps rotating to bottom to amplify the Gaslow value, and I like that quite a bit. Usually, I'm looking at Smexy right now. He uses the Soothing Mist, but the Umbral Bind still comes through, and that is 4 members to get a kill on a Brightwing. Meanwhile, in mid, though, there's a camp to be pushed up. I wonder if there's any sort of counter siege. And actually, in bottom lane, Gaslow is still sieging. So while Brightwing may go down, this is still okay for Granite Gaming.
Yeah, I don't think it's even worth it for Simplicity. They get their first blood, but Brightwing is a global. Generally, when she dies, she has Z available because, well, you only die if you're, like, camping in lane. So she's back already. Gaslow didn't get a lot of structural damage, but the Nullpack camp takes down the middle 2 towers, and that's kind of a problem. That's going to make it a lot easier for Granite Gaming, maybe eventually, to take the objective.
Porky tries to get a few seconds off the channel here. 6 seconds in total channel time, 24 to go for the members of Simplicity, as Granite Gaming continues their pressure through mid, and actually, realistically, all lanes. 10 talent here, there's that Robo-Goblin, as you were mentioning beforehand. Hortipult for the Hogger. We've been seeing a lot more Shockwave. I've been a big fan of the Shockwave plays we've been seeing, but the Hortipult's great. There's what we were talking about, or specifically what I think you and Justin were talking about, the Robo-Goblin to just mitigate so that mass CC available for Simplicity. And Wubby taps well, continues, well, his one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah, without Robogobo, Gaslow plays more like a Kerrigan, a kind of quite squishy melee assassin that has good follow-up to the tank, but that when caught in a lane just dies. Whereas with Robogobo, he plays a lot more like a Leoric or a Dahaka, where it becomes a lot more futile to try and catch him in lane. As he can walk away, he gets shields from every turret he plants down, and he can plant like 3 to 4 turrets. He can walk away with Unstoppable, yeah, and then he can zone with bombs. So it's pretty much just, you're gonna have to leave him alone because he's not easy to gank. Oh, nice Hanzo arrow there on Breeze. Breeze goes down. Simplicity gets their second kill of the game. Warden's containment disc does miss. And there's still really nice zoning from Poik. This is kind of becoming an issue for Simplicity. They're still not getting the channel. Nice timing by Poik.
And we still have that null pack in mid lane sieging in, so that has to be cleared out. While that happens, I wonder if the members of Granite Gaming try and make some sort of play. I will be critical of Breeze's positioning there. It just seemed like he was way too far forward for what the rest of his team was able to do.
True.
And I just think that was another moment where Granite Gaming was just a little too far out in the lane or in the engagement. But 13s are around the corner for both these teams. It's about 12.5 per level for each team. I think it's relatively close. I think Wubby's been doing a great job of grabbing some off-lane experience to just mitigate this heroic deaths that they've had so far. But either way, 13 soon. First objective still up and contested.
For some reason, Tiger JK just used his ult on Gaslow.
I saw that too.
It didn't do anything at all. I guess we all saw it because the camera's here. Maybe... Well, Hortipult could get the killer.
Okay.
Absolutely. He's got garbage fire. That's yeah.
Phase shift! Oh, okay. Well,
Yo, do you think they were considering to kill both? And then he decided, nah, they're gonna get away.
I've definitely done that in my own games where it's like, you stop autoing because you want that Brightwing to phase shift in. Yes, you have to go through a half health bar. Big Wailing Arrow. That's a double haunting wave. Azurite trying to make the big plays for the team, but Tiger JK will get these Fan and Knife resets and the Ancestor healing. Tiger JK getting low. Containment disc is out. Do they continue through mid? Berber is low here as well. Breeze is just trying to get the counter kill, and he can.
Tiger JK did such a good job getting that kill behind the gate. Then he got greedy, thought he can get a Chromie that's behind the gate, went back in, put himself in the middle of Slowing Sands without Vault of the Wardens. Boom. Okay. You know, jumpy thing.
Yeah, Vault of the Wardens, you had it right.
And then he got minus 20 armor from the null pack camp while in the middle of a Slowing Sand. I mean, he could have been taken down by a baby hogger, let alone a fully grown hogger. And yeah, they're awkward, but you know, got a little bit greedy. Still a bunch of cool kills. And the objective, most of all, importantly, goes to Simplicity.
Porky was able to solidify that for his team, as he does have 13. He's got that Bronzebeard Rage, which is great for just siege and team fighting. And throws the Stormbolt back into the tower as he disengages into bottom lane. We have Poik doing his best to push back Berber, who's at full HP. The cavalry will end. Hortipult in very deep. There's a spin, but nothing to connect onto. Berber trying to back away. Hanzo throwing out an arrow. That's more of a disengage than anything else.
Yeah. There was a plan with that Hortipult. Didn't quite materialize perhaps as he envisioned it. A fairly weak objective phase here for Simplicity, Bahamut.
We'll see some towers go down, a little bit of damage onto the fort, but it's Granite Gaming who rush towards boss in bottom lane. 50% of the boss is about left. Now, will we see Simplicity make a rotation? Will they sniff this out? Muradin, Hanzo, they're on their way. They absolutely will be able to. But Hanzo doesn't have arrow for 33 seconds. That's a phase shift in from Brightwing. She doesn't have any sort of Emerald Winds, but the fight does continue here with the Blessed Shield onto one of the members. Hogger is going to not get the Ancestor healing in time. That's a Slowing Sands to zone the enemy. And Granite, I think with the wave and the kill, they look to really open up the map.
Oh, Azurite takes a lot of damage. Porky kind of on the warpath there. Any damage? Question mark. Porky must have been wondering, as he almost single-handedly took down Azurite in the 2v5. He goes away and he should be happy at least that he is still alive. Meanwhile, Nullpack Camp is having a go at the mid towers. This is not an unmitigated disaster for Simplicity. Yes, they lost the boss and a fort. They're still getting the entire mid wall, and they're still looking at a relatively even XP spread right now. So I think they're still fine. I also, in the meantime, figured out a way that both teams can be winners here, Bahamut. Though you wonder if that's enough for them.
How?
Well, Simplicity doesn't have a map win yet. And
Ah.
Granite Gaming doesn't have a series win yet. So there's a way we can both be happy here. If Simplicity wins a map, but they lose the series, everyone wins.
I like that. I like that. I think that should be the motif of this series. Everybody should win, but that's not what Breeze wants, because he's going to drop a Blessed Shield into the Maiev, who also gets the Ancestor Healing from Wishing just in time. We have no channel onto the objective. Gazlo's still working on the null pack over on the top right, or in the mid lane. And it looks like Azurite to go and help out with that very quickly. Very even game, 4-3 in kills. Structurally, we actually have only one structure ahead by the members of Granite Gaming, who are now going to sneak boss through top.
Yo, check this out. Bobby with the 16 talent, not the laser spam. Instead, gonna go with the overclock. Basic attacks grant 15% movement speed to Gaslo for 2 seconds. Dealing basic attack damage to heroes causes them to take an additional 2.5% of their max health as damage. That is pretty impressive, man.
Okay, all right. So Wubby looking just to, he's just looking to just smack his way through the enemy team's face, and we'll see if that is going to be a possibility. Objective phase is still up. During this boss grab, I'm really surprised that Breeze and Poik were able to zone back Simplicity, and no one was able to get any channel time on that right side objective. Umbral Bind will connect on a Smexy, but he gets the blink heal away. This is looking like a very familiar gank into top.
Yep. Poik has been pretty much free shooting for most of the game. The only member of Granite Gaming that hasn't fallen yet in battle. 30k damage, 0 deaths. He has now reached his final strength tier, Piercing Sands. The Piercing Blast no longer stopped by anyone. It can go through every member of the team. Pretty nice against the 4 melee team.
We have that dwarf launch from Porky right there just to disengage, but do like that piercing value with how the members of Simplicity kind of group up in some of these fights. So Poik looking for some extra value with that. Porky diving in very deep. That's a very split fight on the 2 tanks. Avatar utilized by the Muradin. Arrow from Hanzo coming out as well. Containment disc onto Breeze will connect as the spin isolates Berber way beyond his team. Chromie does scout out the Hogger with the vision, but look, this is such a split fight right now. Azurite, I don't know where you're going, but that is... Breeze should fall down here. Smexy will get the blink away. A trade, Hogger for Joanna.
I think Hogger almost had his Hog Wild back. He's got, he doesn't have the level 7 Hog Wild CDR though, so that didn't do him any favors. Big Azurite engage. He had the, oh my god, he had the Will of the Forsaken. He thought he could just get away with the bonus movement speed and the Unstoppable, but he could not. He got slaughtered here. 2-for-1 advantage for Simplicity, even as they're scrambling to get away with their limited remaining health pools. Porky laying in wait to see if anyone is foolish enough to challenge his supremacy on the battlefield once again. Second wind quickly tops him off, and the game goes on. The macro pressure was real against Simplicity's bottom lane. The fact that Granite Gaming was able to survive with all 6 forts intact means that their catapults are uncontested.
We'll see that Reaver minion periodically through the bottom lane. Top lane sitting around 25% HP on that fort, but the news has just rolled in. We got level 20 for Simplicity, which means we'll have that Vault of the Warden's secondary charge. A lot of self-cleanse coming out from that as Porky goes in, gets the Stormbolt, but no teammates are around. So good. It's good zoning, but meanwhile, Poik is going to just drop Dual to about 50% HP with a double Sandblast.
Bullseye, Ancestral, no control. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one. Let's see how that plays out. No control for Hogger.
Porky is...
5... What?
Sorry. I just... Poik is just getting so much damage in Porky, and he dropped to like a quarter HP. I know he's got that level 1, but still, it was just like, okay, like if Granite, executes on this moment, that'd be huge. By the way, everyone just heard Structure Crumble. Top lane fort just fell for free, per se, for Granite Gaming.
Yeah, kind of for free. Just the minions, just been ignored for too long.
And that also gives level 20. Wubby trying to do the dino, and he's going to be able to solo the boss with the Gazlo here, but that means... actually, Azurite's coming into this as well.
Wow.
I actually feel like this is fine the way that Poik's been poking out, but no, it's not! Never mind! I caster cursed him!
Yep. Oh, wow. Okay, well, they're still getting boss. This is fine, right?
At least you got boss.
Oh, they're looking to clean up. Clean up crew in aisle 3. Bobby trying to get away. Dynamite does not connect. Azurite decided to go with the Hearthstone out.
Nice.
What do you think, man? A boss for 2 kills, bottom 4th objective? Probably a win for Simplicity.
Yeah, definitely a win for Simplicity in this. I don't know, or I don't see a world where Granite Gaming steps back into this. I think Porky just anchors just fine on his own, and this is another objective. I believe the second one of the game over to the side of Simplicity, but meanwhile, while all this is happening, we take a peek into the top lane. Smexy was pushing up the wave onto that keep front gate. And it looks like there's a Reaver right up there to tank some damage as well.
Sneaky little Brightwing says, gets a full tower. Burr comes in too little, too late. Solo laner has not been doing his job as much in that top lane. Meanwhile, a silence post Warden's containment disc should be some trouble for Gaslow, but not too much actually. Oh, in comes Big Arrow. Can they get Gaslow or Brightwing?
Ancestor healing with the Farseer's Blessing gets the double proc onto Tiger JK as Gazlo does go down. I thought Porky was actually going to be traded in that moment. Smexy very low here. Is going to be able to back away. Tiger JK making some big plays for his team. Porky doing a very good job anchoring forward as this Muradin. Mid lane fort will fall. Top lane fort should go down as well for Simplicity, as well as bottom lane. So Simplicity says, let's continue to pressure through this mid lane. Or not. Never mind.
Yeah, boss did very little. Yeah, they don't want to push without the generals to buff them anymore. Bottom general 6k HP. Top general 6k HP. A little bit more than a tank at this point. Yeah, about the same health as a Muradin. So that should tell you just how much that is still able to do. Not all too much. Tiger JK pushing up at top. Azurite here looking to do the defense.
And honestly, within like 60 seconds or so, this game has gone from structurally being ahead for Granite to structurally Granite being behind. A really, really quick turn of events in favor for Simplicity as Tiger JK is going to be able to back away. We do have... Porky comes in. Stormbolt won't connect. We do have the Iron Skin utilized. The arrow is narrowly going to miss. Phase shift from Brightwing does come through. Azurite pops the Will of the Forsaken. Porky goes back in. Big condemn from Breeze. That is going to be a stun from Gazlo with the Explodium charge. And Porky is just trying to back away. And
Wailing available now. Otherwise, there might have been a big wailing turn there after that SMX save.
I honestly... Simplicity is looking better and better as this game progresses. It's 9-4 favoring Simplicity. Where does Granite Gaming start to shift the gear? When does it shift back to Granite? Will it ever shift back to Granite? Or does the side of Simplicity continue to control all of these engagements like they have been?
That is a very good question. And we're also getting to an exciting part with the boss. I don't know if it's the right time. It's a bit of a gamble, but in 10 seconds you want to jump into Simplicity. This is the best we've seen him look so far.
Into Simplicity. Let's just head there right now.
All right.
You definitely should. Rotate.
Okay, I'm coming in.
Go. Wait, just be careful. No skin.
Slow. I'm coming.
I'm
coming. You guys have cooldowns?
Yeah.
You have cooldowns?
Soon.
Arrow one.
I'm looking for a disc.
Close.
No, we're chilling.
Yeah, we're chilling.
I might go on him for a tether. Just look to poke him down.
Journey again.
No skin.
Yeah, he has no skin. I'm gonna look the bait.
Oh, huge arrow! Oh my god!
Kill me.
Nice.
Breeze.
Joe next.
Just kill him. Nice.
Yep.
Well, we do boss and then do the tribute or
Yeah,
the
I'll
objective.
start
Can
objective.
tribute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I get one?
Grubby, you have the best intuition ever, because that was such a great call. We go in there, we get to hear how they're making these shot calls. Chaotic, loud. A lot of the leading voice you're hearing right there was Tiger JK, for anyone wondering. But they come out on top with a massive, humongous, god-tier arrow from Dual.
And most of all, big.
Big.
It was big. It was
very
huge. Yeah.
big. Monumental.
Yeah.
Colossal.
Tiger JK not able to get some of those engage working, but that's why I love Dragon Arrow and Hanzo so much. Even as a Dragon Pretzel fan, I'm starting to appreciate Dragon Arrow more and more because it's a different thing to worry about as a team. And when you're looking at the Maiev, you may forget about the Hanzo. That was a lovely engage. Nice to see that energy up. It wasn't a whole lot to cheer for sometimes for Simplicity because the games had been tough. But they're looking good here, and it was wonderful to hear them from that side. I wish them all the best as they've got a boss. They're going to get the objective. Let's see what they can get out of it. They need the lanes to be pushed. Hogger is getting the middle nullpack camp, and I like it. After that, he really needs to push out 2-wave spot ASAP to make sure that this objective hits with a certain kind of synchronicity. However, Hogger is leaving bot, not doing the another wave, because he thinks it is too risky not to be with his team, presumably, in the mid lane when the initial generals collide. He's going to let bottom be an afterthought, and they will focus on 2 out of 3 keeps. Not the greediest thing you could be doing, but perhaps the safest.
The Alliance Cavalry from Vandar coming through. Stormbolt eaten by the Iron Skin of Joanna. Here's that null pack, as you had mentioned, that does reduce the armor on structures and heroes. That's a lot of... That's an attempt. I think there was a Robo Goblin to mitigate the wailing arrow, the arrow from Hanzo, as we see a 34-second cooldown onto that one. But the mid lane already going down to 50%. Top lane, this cavalry is getting some good value. We're looking at a keep to fall through top lane, which means consistent Reavers in this lane. But do the members of Simplicity go further? Do they look for more damage? They go on Breeze. They have a time stop. Chromie that they could potentially set up right here. Tiger JK getting in position. Poik very low, and Sister Healing gets the Farseer splash. No control comes through, getting some decent damage from Berber. The objective is on the top lane, and they want to end on the side of Simplicity? I call you crazy.
You crazy people. You go back. That's not something you do on a 40 armor core, but now with the keep down, with the cage, they're gonna try to one-shot Johanna. He gets the iron skin off. Breeze walks away.
Smexy comes through with the phase shift. We do have the Tiger JK getting out of here. Vault of the Wardens as that double charge as well. I'm just gonna look really quickly, see how many they've got, and looks like we have a small pause right now, so we'll bring it back to our lovely faces, and we are going to figure out what's going on with this slight little pause. But I gotta say, from, what was it, second objective onward, this game has been so heavily over to the side of Simplicity.
Basically, Bahamut, since Wooby decided to start doing the boss solo as Gaslow,
yes,
and it wasn't backed off with an incredibly safe positioning. Think about it like this. Not only did Poik want to be able to stop the objective channel with Chromie, he also wanted to do so from a vantage point that would put him about a screen away from the boss should Simplicity turn and actually go for the bottom boss. That's key here. He could have interrupted the objective from over the wall. Instead, he wedged himself between the swampy area and the objective, and therefore they were able to get the jump on him. This is a team decision that Granite made. Either it's on Wooby, either it's on Poik. But that was the turnaround point where Simplicity was able to get many kills and put the game in an ever more favorable position. Now, very big risk by Simplicity. You don't do this 4 forts against 1 to put everything on a boss fight unless you're very confident you can win it.
Hogger's got an infinite spin back and forth. Porky dives into the backline. Hogger still spinning. Arrow from Hanzo. We have everybody layering on top of this objective, and it's going to be Granite Gaming, very similar to 30K on Tomb of the Spider Queen, throwing on this boss pit, and Simplicity can go... What?
Chromie was dead, so I guess it was not like a throw because they were already behind. You can't really throw when you're behind.
Sorry, my bad.
but it is true that it ends with a boss wipe, level 20, 24 or so. Simplicity, they were confident at it. They had the Hogger control on the boss. Spoik was still dead, and they have the Hogger. Nice way to finish it. Simplicity not wasting any time. All keeps down. Boss coming. GG, well played. Simplicity get their first map win in CCL of Season 4.
First map victory for Simplicity, and a road for Simplicity to potentially take this series. Man, I do have to say, crazy comms that we did hear into, and I know Justin's got a lot of things he probably wants to talk about, but I am curious to get your thoughts as well on those comms, Justin, because you did hear the level of chaos that was the Simplicity comms.
Yeah, it definitely sounded pretty hectic. You had Tiger and Porky communicating together quite well, though, with the engages. You could tell Porky tried to get a little bit over eager, and you had the whole team kind of saying, slow down, chill a bit, like trying to kind of keep him on a leash, make sure that he doesn't get a little bit too out of control on the Muradin. And that's something that we've seen a bit from Muradins so far in Season 4, is sometimes they get a little bit out of hand, thinking they're a little bit too invincible. It's good to see the team reel him back, and then they wait for the counter, or the re-engage. And you had that 3-man arrow when we were in the comms. You could hear Porky say, like, it's huge. And it was huge. It was a massive arrow from pretty much max range, being able to set up that fight. And Simplicity looking super strong. They do get their first win. You had a ton of dive, something that we don't see a lot of. Even Quake on the Chromie, someone who was kind of known for Chromie back in the day, a very safe hero that's hard to dive onto with the slowing sands. You have to be really decisive with your engages. Simplicity was. They had the Muradin jumping in from Porky. Yeah. You had the Dragon Arrows from Dulal that were on point onto the backline. When Tiger JK can teleport into the backline as well. And you need everyone. You have the Hortapult from the Hogger. You need everyone to kind of do it at the same time. Simplicity, looking coordinated, being able to get those coordinated dives into the backline. One thing I do want to be critical of, I think the moment that was the most important for Simplicity and Granite in this series, or in this game, was Poik on the Chromie had the ability to defend the second objective infinitely if he played around his middle fort, because they still had their fort available and the objective spawned on the side that he could stall forever.
Okay.
But because Wubby on the Gazlo was so insistent on playing for that bottom boss, I think that's why Granite positioned kind of in that big open space by the objective instead, and that allowed Poik to be a target to get engaged on. That was where they traded the boss for the objective. That was a really crucial moment where Granite fell behind, because they could have had the option to just stall the objective infinitely with the Chromie because the spawn was the right one for them and they hadn't lost their mid fort. So good on Simplicity to take advantage of that and be able to dive onto Poik. But Granite needs to definitely clean things up if they want to be able to stand a chance in the series, because they had that was a massive blunder by them that was taken full advantage of by Simplicity, and that kind of broke apart the map. And in actual fights, in 5v5s and 4v4s, Simplicity looks much, much stronger than Granite right now.
And that's a really kind of scary thing. We'll have to see how it all unfolds further, because we know where we're going to for map number 2 in our second best of 5 of the day. And Grubby, where are we going to be heading off to there, friend?
It's going to be Sky Temple. I'm expecting to see a lot of global picks coming out of Granite Gaming. I'm not sure what we're going to be seeing out of Simplicity, but generally Swedish teams like to get a bunch of globals, right wing, Dahaka, whatnot, if they can get away with it. There's 2 teams in the draft. Sky Temple has a 8 out of 10 strength objective. It doesn't bolster hero strength like the Alterac pass generals, but it does have unstoppable laser damage, a guaranteed damage, unlike literally every other objective, if we're not counting, Hanamura, Blackheart's Bay. So the objective will end you. That's a guarantee. So if you're down structurally, you can't trade out anymore. And the map is often too big and scary and deprived of vision, with too much emphasis on offlane clear from Bruiser and Siege Camp, for you to really be able to force a fight when you need it the most. So falling behind structurally can have catastrophic consequences when it comes to a double temple phase.
And that's kind of the thing with Sky Temple, is you can basically play the map and you don't really need to play the fights per se, and you can just slowly win through that macro. There is that one counter factor being Abathur with Mule. If you don't take a structure down permanently, he can slowly build that back up. And this is a map where we can see Abathur's, but he hasn't really had that much popularity in Season 4. I feel like we've had maybe 1 or 2 Abathur games, maybe a ban or 2. I'd have to go back and check my notes. But Justing, Abathur's aside, or if you want to keep talking about it, you're welcome to. We're into the Sky Temple draft. Got to get your thoughts here as we load on in.
Be interesting to see what Wubby goes with this game, because in the last game, his last pick did have the option to go with the Urel or the Dahaka. He did go with the Gazlo.
Yeah.
And they had a kind of a strange strategy of Azerite and Wubby on the Sylvanas and the Gazlo, just trying to get the bosses every time they were available. But when it came to team fights, it really felt like the Gazlo didn't contribute too much. So I'll be curious to see whether they continue to go with something like that, or if they're going to go back to kind of the more traditional offlane things. I don't think the Gazlo had a ton of success in the last game overall. They got the bosses, but as we've seen from Dino and we talked about it a bit, what it took 2 members to do in most cases between the Sylvanas and the Gazlo. Certain ranged heroes can do it with just 1. So not super impressed with it. We'll see if Granite has anything else ready and prepared, but so far Simplicity has looked very strong with this 4-man type of setup with the Maiev. Potentially banning that out for Granite could be good. Simplicity is also looking quite strong with the Muradin, and it feels like these are things that haven't really changed for Simplicity. Even in their losses, when they have a 4-man like they had in the last game with the Muradin and the Maiev, they've looked quite strong. So we'll see if Granite is able to deal with that, either with the bans or with their picks.
And Simplicity is starting very interesting here, Grubby.
Those 2 picks are very good against Abathur, Vikings and Hammer.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like we might see first pick Abba or second pick Abba, provided they like the first 2 picks of Granite. I mean, that's the only explanation that I have here. Unless Simplicity feels so confident after game 1 that they're not picking Abathur, but they feel that if they don't get cheesed, imagine if we got to this point, if they don't get cheesed by Hammer or Vikings, they win the game.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah?
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Wow.
Especially, I see Tiger JK has the crown. I think that's very... I've played with Tiger JK in the past. I think that's a very much on like his train of thought and his way of thinking. So I think that they do feel that they kind of outclass them in the team fights so heavily that if they don't get cheesed, they just win. I think that is kind of the mentality of Simplicity.
Dahaka and Rhaegar up front here. I do like these 2 heroes. I mean, the Rhaegar he's been pretty good. I mean, he's got some wins, he's got some losses, good popularity within CCL. I do like the Dahaka. The drags can be very on point, and we just continue to see the draft unfold here, Grubby. I want to get the last pick here because I am curious, what did they go into? Is it going to be that tank? Is it going to be some damage? Sylvanas to be grabbed as well for the side of Simplicity.
Sylvanas is also good against Abathur. It may still happen. I don't usually see Abba being as part of a draft of Brightwing, Hogger, and Sylvanas.
Yeah.
It's fine on Sylph, really, but Brightwing can feel superfluous in an Abathur draft. Usually you want a more melee aggressive healer with Abathur. I like Rhaegar or Kharazim or Uther. Hogger also not the best hat target, so I think you're right, Justin, that you know Tiger better than me. That's probably his train of thought. But can I just talk about the implications that our blossoming butterfly from a caterpillar of defeat is now in a position where they feel they're the team that just shouldn't get cheesed and they'll win with their superiority? And the team that didn't have any map wins yet, now with a pretty confident big team kill scorer in the last game, thinks they can just close it out 3-0 so long as nothing unexpected happens?
I mean, I think there's also a little bit of, I think you're right with that, but I also think that's a positive mentality going forward. Like, we took a map, we can do this. Like, it's like we're rallying the team here. It's like, okay, see, it's 1 step out of 3 that we need to make, and only 2 more maps need to be won for the side of Simplicity. So maybe it is a little bit of that. You want to rally everyone. You want to make sure that you continue the positivity and bolster up the team. I think that mental is very, very important. We talked about it last season, seasons ago with McIntyre. I think we've actually talked about it with Justing as well. But of course, Justing, whatever you want to talk about, because we're here at the end of the draft. Do you want to talk about the drafts or even the mentals for these teams? Take it away, my friend.
I think Simplicity is going to be happy here with no matter what the last pick is from Granite. Simplicity's draft looks kind of ridiculous right now. They got the Maiev that I talked about as their last pick alongside Johanna, which has been getting first picked all day today. Yeah, Cassia does not seem to be sort of the special pick that I would have expected to hope for Granite to be able to salvage this draft. Simplicity just has 5 S-tier heroes that work very well together. They're very dive heavy, which has shown to kind of be Simplicity's best playstyle as a team up until now. And then in the last game, it was really, really shown with their current roster, which I'm assuming that this will be the roster that they're going with because this is their first win. They've looked the strongest here. They've just, it felt like the tempo was good for them between Tiger and Porky on the front line and that follow-up CC on the Maiev. Being able to have that communication between them and being able to play aggressively together like that alongside the Hogger, which will probably have Hortipult. I had in my notes from last game that while the Dragon Arrows were good, Hanzo's really not the best hero as your range to have for follow-up. Something like a Sylvanas would have been a lot better to be able to dive in alongside the rest of the team. This game, you have all 5 members of Simplicity who can dive in together. Sylvanas can dive in alongside Johanna and Maiev, who can go into the backline. Hogger can go in, Brightwing can TP into the backline. So this game, Simplicity has 5 members who can within an instant teleport into the backline all together and look to one-shot someone from Granite. Rhaegar we've seen as being a bit of a target in these games, so I'm expecting Simplicity, if they have the momentum from last game, to keep it going and to just destroy Granite in the team fights.
Alrighty, Justin, thank you as always for your analysis and thoughts, as we will see you after map number 2 here on Sky Temple. We've got Simplicity in the blue. We are looking at Tiger JK on the Maiev, Porky on the Joanna, Dual on the Sylvanas, Wishing on the Brightwing, and Berber to play the Hogger. Over on the side of Granite Gaming, Smexy on the Rhaegar, Wubby on the Dahaka, Poik on the Lunara, Breeze on the Murden, and Azarite on the Cassia. Last game, Grubby, I believed in Granite Gaming. I thought they would slowly kind of whittle, burn down, and take the victory up against Simplicity. But now that I've been shown and I can see the light, and as Justin was really breaking down quite beautifully as we were loading in here, I do feel like Simplicity has everything they want in this draft, and maybe even more, especially with this Maiev on Tiger JK, who was really, really, really critical in that last game. But of course, as always, Grubby, what you gonna have for dinner after the stream?
No idea yet. No idea. Probably some Stormleak NA. I'm thinking.
Make sure
That's
the band
always it's always hitting me right in the feels and leaves me feeling satisfied. Now, question.
Yes.
Why did I know it was gonna be Cassia in that final pick?
Because you're an oracle and you read the script.
I was like thinking, is it gonna be Cassia? Because there was things that I like about it and that I don't.
Okay.
So I think it starts with a point of respect for Tiger JK. Maiev is vulnerable to blinds, as her Umbral Blind doesn't tether when you blind her on that engage. So I was thinking, okay, you want range because you don't want to cluster melee against Maiev. She gets too many fan and Umbral Blind resets. Then, oh, nice yoink there on Breeze. Then which range has a blind? I mean, that doesn't leave many there, does it? I mean, you could go Arya or Lily, but not enough damage. And you are taking an auto attacker into Johanna, which can be awkward to have reliable damage. So you get the Thunderstrokes level 1 talent. And it scales quite well. This is a ability that can get like almost double damage if you scale it quite well. So, okay, Cassia, kind of safe as well into Umbral Bind. Yoinks. Not too many stuns. But this is a big push here coming in from Simplicity. They've got the Black Arrows, the protection of 20 spell armor from the Bruiser Camp. It looks to me, Bahamut, they're going core.
They're gonna just run it down top lane, but this is a really big victory for the side of Simplicity, structurally as well as in their experience department. We talk about this often, but as we've mentioned, there are some new viewers that pop into CCL. You know, Heroes of the Storm might not be your main game. And so on Sky Temple, you have the 3 lanes that fire shots, and we don't have to go through every specific of this. The big factor is that the temple in the respective lane will focus on that structure first. So mid shots would go to mid fort. The big thing about top lane right there, they take down the gate, they get some damage onto the fort in the top lane. Simplicity should prioritize this top lane objective, meaning they will guarantee the top lane fort.
Bahamut, mid towers were just destroyed as well.
That is true. That is true.
So it doesn't matter anymore. They could either take all of mid.
That is fair.
Or all of top. Kind of a John Legend moment here. All of me, all of you. All of mid, all of top. It doesn't matter because Granite Gaming's head is going to be underwater.
I was thinking
Simplicity starts taking the mid, and then that allows them to just put the rest here for defense against the Bruiser Camp.
I was really thinking that they'd prioritize top since there was already the structural damage, but yeah, that's a very good point you're making, Grubby. But right now, Granite Gaming, they're actually on both points. Maiev and mid is going to get the phase shift from Brightwing, so it's not a terrifying fight anymore. Breeze has to Dwarf Toss away. Did go for block stacks at 1, so making sure that you're kind of keeping those stacks ready to go always is big. You know, there's a term for it, like pre-procking your block stacks is always something you can do as Murd, and just make sure you're not burning a specific cooldown on Leap when you really need it. And the objective phase is going to be swapping back over to the side of Simplicity, who will, as Grubby foretold, looking for mid lane fort, but Porky and friends back away.
Wow, Fort still has how much health? 1600. Just a little bit too much for one hero to finish off this early in the game.
Phase shift from Brightwing will be onto the Joanna. I thought it got interrupted there, but the last few shots will go into mid lane fort, and that will confirm the mid lane fort. Now, where are these few 5 shots to go? Does it prioritize top?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
5 shots on top 4. Takes it from about 60 to 45% health or so.
Okay.
Nice start here for Simplicity. So far, their confidence seems to be well earned.
Yes. And I think that is a big factor going into a lot of these games. And I mean, we can even correlate this to our own Storm League games. You take a big loss. You go into the next game. You're a little downtrodden. You're a little sad. But you get into you take a win and you're queuing up for your next game. You're excited. You're ready to go. So you want to ride that high as much as you can, because that is also a big benefit for a team. As Tiger JK sidesteps the drag, the phase shift doesn't come through because I believe Murden got a Stormbolt in bottom.
Murden Stormbolt on bottom was actually the key for Tiger JK there, because Drag Tongue did miss from the Haka, but the kill is secured, Murden helping from another lane. Nice job, and that is going to be the first kill for Granite Gaming, who, by the way, also took down top forward.
Yep.
Even as Wooby gets in position with his Dahaka to get the level 10 value. We're looking at his Brush Stalker cooldown. He does not have it, 38 seconds, so Granite Gaming is going to have to fight with the 4 that they have here.
No, actually looking at Pin Down has 45% bonus damage. We have 3 stacks on Pin Down. 3 out of 4.
Not bad. That's quite fast.
The last one, the last stack you can get is you have to hit 4 enemies. So they basically have most of the damage here scaled up. I'm not
But you
mistaken.
can earn it one by one, right? Yeah, you can earn it one by one. Every time you hit 3 enemy heroes with a single ban.
So he actually, I think he just has to do it one more time, actually. I think I misspoke on that one. But that is not what we need to talk about. What we need to talk about is the bottom lane temple that seemingly is already in control for Simplicity, as the 10 talents are up across the board, all off of cooldown as well. Nothing major to note or anything weird. We do have this shockwave for the Hogger. I will point that out.
Okay, Shockwave, no Valkyrie, Abduction coming in from Cassia here, just Ball Lightning. He's got that splash damage around himself, as he is fairly likely going to be surrounded by enemies, perhaps even now. Where is the Haka burrowing towards? There he is. Can he get a Drag Tongue? Did he already try to use it? No, he still has it. There's an isolation on Hogger. Nice block with the Haunting Wave on the Drag Tongue. Dulal smurfing the stun there.
And Azerite has the channels on the objective. A Breeze gets knocked into the wall. Porky has the Blessed Shield ready to go. Wubby's in the bush looking for a drag. That's going to be a good setup. Duel with a 1 foot Haunting Wave. Warden's Cage. That's a big, terrifying, just Warden's Cage as Fan and Knife reset up to Fan and Knife reset. Goes over to Tiger JK, who finishes out that level 4 talent. So he's got, 50% bonus damage on Fan and Knives? Youch.
Yep. This was insane. It looked like Granite Gaming, everyone full life, chasing a team of 20% lifers. Until Tiger JK turned on his Bankai. In came a Warden's Cage. The 3 people got smacked into. Splash damage started spreading, and Simplicity was able to turn the fight by virtue of Tiger JK's Warden.
Invade onto the camp, looking like Granite Gaming might be able to steal this away. Duel has to back away. Wishing is on the point. Breeze jumps back on, getting some block stacks. We have Tiger JK getting low. Brush Stalk from Dahaka as Tiger JK is looking to just back away. Hogger maybe has a staggering blow. He does, but no stun into the wall, as Granite Gaming has invaded on a couple things here and there and doing a great job of it. Stealing away the bottom lane objective, stealing away this camp. And with the little bit of extra experience that they're gaining from that, Granite Gaming should hit 13s first.
And Poik has been peppering a lot of damage from the backline there. We saw so much poison on the members of Simplicity that Poik was really sending them running almost single-handedly. Looking at the hero damage sheet, we can see that this is also numerically true. 25,000 hero damage for Lunara. The next highest is about 20,000. Tiger JK. Very impressive. Gotta watch out for Poiky. For Poik.
Sorry.
Yo, different build from SMX, by the way. It's the first time we see this particular build in CCL.
Oh yeah, a lot more on the Lightning Shield value as well, huh?
Totem and Shield. So what does he get? The Bearer of Lightning Shield heals for the damage that Lightning Shield deals on an enemy. And he's dead. Doesn't this always just happen?
I feel like it actually does happen way too often. Yeah. It's like, look at all these interesting things on this. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, this could be cool and this could be really good because dead.
Dead. Oh, Boss will be the target for Simplicity, but the members of Granite are poking at this. A lot of Simplicity members are low here, yeah.
Well, there is poison damage, but Johanna heals fast, so does Hager. And Lunara, if she doesn't dare to step up, she may miss the window of opportunity to get more down there. That's a double pull. That's a lot of pulls. This warning cage is insane. Breeze finds the angle to jump away, but it's a disaster. Boss is already lost. Will be trying to run away. He's going to use Rush Stalker and Stealth and Enhanced Agility, but the Tornado is not really cooperative, is it?
No, that is not what you want for the side of Granite. You lose the boss, you lose your Dahaka. We do have Breeze trying to steal a few shots away on this bottom lane objective. Meanwhile, Rhaegar's already running to top lane. Structurally, it's in favor of Granite Gaming, but these team fights are looking all Simplicity in the late game here, as Smexy has to run away, Berber focusing onto the objective.
So, all the forts are going down now. We go for a 1-for-1 trade. Boss has been dealt with.
Oh no!
Oh, wow. Lunara getting blown up there.
Porky's last game. Breeze, you need to run to the right of the map, not the left. Just heads up on that one right there. But it doesn't matter, as he is down. We do have the Hoggers getting the spin away. Berber is able to back away. Azerite still looking to chase in. Doesn't get the kill. Top lane shots come out from Rhaegar. Bottom lane fort will be confirmed by Simplicity.
So, those 2 kills just happened, but what do those 2 kills actually contribute to this game state? Not much. Half a level, if that even. Perhaps less. No extra structures were killed. No boss was taken. No enemy siege camp was invaded during that. So these are 2 of the least impactful deaths that you could possibly have. However, let's put a pin in that, because the longest talent window does still have to be bridged. 16 to 20 is the most amount of XP that you need to cover ever. And that still means that Simplicity could get level 20 before Granite, because of those 2 kills. It was a nice 4-man rotation that got a bunch of kills there, and it helped a bit with the structures. As there's a siege camp invade, can the Haka brush stalk in? He doesn't. They give away the camp. Nice steal by Simplicity.
Double Siege Giants in the bottom lane, or at least Siege Giants in bottom lane already. The second wave about to approach as Porky was zoning to make sure that this couldn't get cleared out. And Berber and friends, they're looking for some value right here. I'm looking actually at Wubby. Does have the brush stock available, but he's still working on that top lane wave.
Oh, Shockwave! Warden's Cage not successful this time. The first one that doesn't have an amazing impact after what was a really cool Umbral Bind. Breeze uses Cage to engage.
And Simplicity is able to just back away. All right, so let's take stock of the map right now. No camps available. 3 minutes. Actually, the Bruiser camp on the right is up in 15. We have Siege Giants up in about 1.5 to 2. Boss is up in 2 minutes. So 1 camp is available on the top right, but the fight maybe breaks out over here. Oh no, Murden, he's stuck against the wall. Pops the Avatar. Dwarf tosses in. Ball lightning from Cassia. Does spread to quite a few members, getting the full duration on those bounces. Huge soothing missed out from the Brightwing as Tiger JK gets the Vault of the Wardens to back away. Tiger JK is the target. Tiger JK will fall.
Nice job by Granite Gaming. They finally take down the Maiev that had been haunting and hunting them. They now get a very impactful... See, this single kill is much more impactful than the other 2. This comes at a timing that is extremely problematic for Simplicity. They are going to lose their XP advantage and now don't have priority position on the temple. More than that, the temple will kill top keep so fast and then start working on the mid keep, which are the towers that Granite is already attacking. They could get 2 keeps out of this, Bahamut.
They could very well do so. They could lose their Cassie as well as the Wombo.
Little bit inty.
Little bit of really good damage from the side of Simplicity as Granite is trying to say no. It's it was a little inty right there. I'm not gonna lie.
A little bit. But I mean, sure, it's Simplicity's credit. They won the 4v1. It was good. You know, Cassia trying to get some stacks there. He only had 64, one at 69. Now Wubby gonna have to give the rest up. Okay. Keep is not dead, Bahamut. 2,110 health.
That is a sliver on that keep can be sneezed on, so Tiger JK will make sure that no sneeze is had from the mid wave as that'll be pushed out. And 20 talent here should go over to the side of Simplicity. I really think that Simplicity, when they get 20, they've really got to make something big happen up against Granite Gaming. But of course, they have to find someone, gank someone, all that in between, and I don't think Granite's really gonna just step out and take a fight down the 20 talent.
Or will they? Look at the boss timer, Bahamut Gaming.
19 seconds. Oh, this is a
They
tense one.
afford to wait for that while having to wait for an entire level. Simplicity also checks timers. And go get the siege camp. I'd like them to take the siege camp but not capture it. Then go for the boss and take them together.
I like that idea as well.
This makes it obvious, makes it weaker. Now the boss won't lead the siege camp. Now it's probably not a win condition boss.
What's Granite doing?
They're not going core. They're just going to finish the keep, and then they're going to Hearthstone while pretending to go core to try and force some people back. This is pretense. They're going to do this. They're going to turn around in 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh no, they turned
Not
around
so
too
fast!
late! They turned around way too late, Grubby! Literally, your timing was perfect. They go too late. They lose the Rhaegar on the side of Granite Gaming. Wailing Arrow on Cassia. She doesn't have the insta mount. Oh no, she does. Sorry, I misread the talent, but it doesn't matter. She should go down boss and bottom lane. That
Granite was like, we're gonna leave now, and then the weather was like, oh no, you tornado don't.
I'm sorry. That was good. That was actually really good. Tornado don't. All right, sorry. Let's cast the game, Grubby.
Yeah. Tiger JK goes in 1v4. Can he really? He does the vault of the Ward. Oh my god. He does the vault of the Wardens. They're gonna get the keep with the Black Arrow. Will they dare to go 5v4 for core though?
Doesn't seem like Simplicity wants that. I wonder if Simplicity's afraid of just like the Winions ending against them, so they're just backing off and getting clear. I say that, no one's really hearthing. Maybe Hogger is in bottom lane actually, so yeah. Alright, so he'll be back at core, he'll be able to clear things out. Catapults do deal significant damage at this current time. Right now, 570 into structures, and those things are still scaling. Actually, I look at a top lane catapult, that's 616 damage into structures, but Dahaka on top. We have Breeze on bottom. Shots could win out here.
Shots fired. I repeat, shots fired. But does it even matter if you get Cassia? Doesn't your core just die? Oh, I guess not. They still have a keep, so they try to get Cassia! Ancestral healing! Where's the second ancestral healing? It doesn't hit! It does matter. It matters a lot. Bahamut Gaming. They got 2 kills. They can now, if they get another kill, they can go for the core. There's a contagion from Wubby. Oh no, Granite Gaming, they were in a great spot. But they got picked apart. Simplicity though. This is a song of victory here for Simplicity. A 5 versus 1. They found the eye through the needle. They found the eye of the storm. They found the way to win here.
Could you say that
2-0 coming in.
That the members of Simplicity are heroes of the storm, taking map. Okay, I'm sorry. They'll take map number 2.
Every single one of them. GG 2-0.
Oh boy, alrighty, so Granite Gaming will be down in this series, Simplicity going up and could close things out in a 3-0. There were some shaky moments for Simplicity, but I honestly think, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, that mid lane keep core attempt, just, that felt like the nail in the coffin. It really did.
That felt like Granite learning what the core defense mechanics on Sky Temple do. That's part of the reason why this was the map that I pretty much wanted to ban every time when I was a player. That's not the only reason. I'm not a huge fan of the kind of the gameplay flow of Sky Temple where you kind of keep a lead and just trade for the rest of the game when you're ahead. But Granite Gaming learning how the tornado works, how the objective defense works with the 3-man tornado just blocking him in, it was pretty funny to hear Grubby kind of call exactly when that they should leave, and then as soon as they're kind of staying a little bit too long, they're all just getting pulled along by the tornadoes. But I mean, it was the right ideas overall from a macro front from Granite. Just that was a bit of a mistake. They were even still in an okay spot though after that. They were still ahead 1 keep to 2. They still had a keep advantage. It was a weird dynamic of that game where it felt like Simplicity was just destroying them in every single fight. It really felt like Simplicity was winning the game, and they had an XP advantage, and they were ahead in kills, but they were behind in structures nearly the entire game. Outside of the first objective, where Simplicity was rightfully ahead, it was a weird game where Granite was just mostly prioritizing structures and objective and just pushing, where you had Wubby just stealing objective as the Haka. and Simplicity just playing almost exclusively for team fights and winning most of the team fights, but at the cost of the objective, at the cost of macro. So Granite kind of finding their style, I guess, to some extent, playing a little bit of a rat type play style to some extent, with Wubby just going and sneaking objective whenever he can, and the rest of the members of Granite sort of throwing themselves into Simplicity at certain points just to kind of create distractions for that siege. But Simplicity rightfully gets their team fight at the end after the failed core kind of bait by Granite. Simplicity does get that team fight at the end. They get the 4-for-0, wiping them and ending the game. I'm glad that Simplicity won that game because it felt like they were in control of every single team fight.
Yeah.
But Granite Gaming does seem to have potentially a slightly better grasp on the macro. So we'll see what if we go to a big map or a small map, maybe Granite will have a chance to run them around the map again, and maybe things will be a little bit different going into game 3.
Yeah, we are getting set up for game number 3, but as always, we're going to let the players stretch their legs and get another glass of water, because this could be the final game of the day coming up after this short little break. In this break, I encourage you to hit ! prize pool in chat. We are less than $7 away from hitting $10,500. So if anyone would like to round us up during the break, that'd be very much appreciated. ! Prize pool in chat will get you over to the match arena. But as I mentioned, we're gearing up for map number 3. Could be the final map of the day. Could be the map where Granite Gaming starts to rally. We'll find out all of that and more when we come back to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and we are in the midst of our second best of 5 of the weekend of HeroesCCL season 4, week number 5. That was a long intro, so let's throw it over to Grubby. What'd you get up to in the break?
Just memeing. Gotta
Tornado. I can't. We need CCL t-shirts that just say "Tornado Don't" across the top, and it's just a little Cecil on there as well.
I'll make the joke every weekend, and you'll pretend to still find it funny.
Not pretend.
I'm just kind of shocked here, Bahamut. I just sat here in shock and stared in front of me as everything I thought I knew about Simplicity turns out to be upsy-daisy, turntabled. Because the team that hadn't won any maps yet is now on the precipice of closing out in a 3-0 victory. Not a good sign for Granite, but for Simplicity, it's a nice turnaround. And it even shows that Porky was not the problem. They tried to sub him out last week after a couple of losses, but he's back with a vengeance.
And he's leading, doing great with Tiger JK. Justing, are you ready for this map number 3? Because this is a spicy matchup, honestly. It could be a 3-0, but it's still quite spicy in general between these two teams.
Yeah, Simplicity is looking pretty good in the team fights, but Granite is looking pretty good on a macro front. And Simplicity right now is looking a little bit... I would be a little worried perhaps they're hinging too much on Tiger JK and his Maiev. That's something that I'm a bit concerned about going forward. And with the teams being this close in the standings, some variance is expected. It could be a 3-0, but a reverse sweep definitely not out of the question when you have teams this close in the standings, especially teams with, being unable, for Simplicity to be unable to pick up a single game and now be up 2-0 doesn't instill the most confidence in the 3-0. So we'll have to see what happens.
Well, let's find out where we're going to for map number 3, and we can continue our deliberation about, well, what our thoughts are, because it's going to be a smaller map, actually, chosen by Simplicity. And I believe we were alluding to this before the break that, Grubby, it's maybe we go to a big map and Granite Gaming can run them around, and Simplicity's like, if you want first pick there, Granite Gaming, we're going to take you to a tiny little map with a lot of infighting and brawling.
Yep, and this is pretty much in line with what Tiger JK set up as the drafter in game number 2. No cheese or Reno, we win a Reno, and they did. And Battlefield of Eternity is practically uncheesable. Even double keep catapult pressure is usually not an issue, as it can be defended and you can still form a defense for the Immortals in the center. This one is won by nothing but ankle grease and sweat and blood and tears. Elbow grease?
Elbow grease.
Is it?
Elbow grease. Yeah. I was like, why are we greasing our ankles? Like, what is this new trend?
Probably be really slippery, and their Simplicity, not sim slippery. Now, this is the map you would take them to if you think you have the better team fight.
Yeah, and I think, Grubby, that is the biggest takeaway. I think that you put that perfectly. Is this is the map where you go in team fight. Like Infernal Shrines, there's a lot of, everyone comes in team fights. Volskaya Foundry, which was voted out for this season, a lot of team fighting, but adjusting. I think this is a great map to really, because you can test the enemy on macro decisions like when to grab camps, when to split during objective phase to maybe clear a lane or something, but it is a lot of micro, it is a lot of team fighting, and I really do wonder if this Maiev will get through for Simplicity, or it will be a hot early pick to get it onto Tiger JK for a map like Battlefield.
Yeah, I'm curious if they can get the same success without the Maiev. I would expect Granite to look to ban that on a small map, especially on Battlefield, where the early game is so important, and Maiev can enable so much early game skirmishes to... Yep. Maiev can kind of make those fights go a lot worse than they otherwise would. Maiev is kind of the notorious level 1 hero, where you see the enemy team have a Maiev, and you're deciding whether or not you want to take that 5v5 at level 1, and you say, maybe let's just not, because Maiev can kind of turn that into an actual real 3-for-0 or something, whereas most heroes don't really turn a fight like that. So we do see the Maiev banned out, that makes sense. Battlefield of Eternity, one thing that is very unique about the map is the objective is so strong that the game often doesn't reach level 20, whereas pretty much every other map in the game right now, post the XP changes, the big XP overhaul, pretty much every other map often goes to 20. This one, it's much more rare for it to go to level 20. The objective is very, very strong, and if you're winning to the extent that you're able to get full shielded immortals, the second or third immortal can have the chance to end the game depending on how you push with it. So we'll see if Simplicity is able to play that aggressive early game, because if Granite is a little bit more kind of stuck in their old ways, this is the map that has changed the least from when Granite, from when all these players were kind of at their prime.
Okay.
If that's the case, they could be running something that was popular then, like Tyrael, which we don't really see a lot on BoE now. He's got poor mana sustain, but something like Tyrael, Genji, Li Ming was really popular in those days on this map. Oh, there's the Genji.
Unfortunately, no Li Ming. She did get banned away. You're bringing up like old drafts on Battlefield. You know what actually used to come to mind to me, and maybe it's no longer even plausible. But Sergeant Hammer and Lieutenant Morales used to be a very good combo on a map like this, because you could just siege around the objective. The enemy tries to step into you, knock them away with a grenade, knock them away with a concussive blast, continue to burn down the immortal. It's something I used to see ages ago, but I wonder if it's something that we could see from either of these teams.
With graduating range, right?
I actually don't remember. I want to say it was still Hover Siege back then. I really do feel like it was Hover Siege still back then. But oh my god, graduating range. Yeah, I'm just now remembering that was the hot commodity back then. But of course, Grubby, any thoughts here? Because we're getting through some bans. We got some picks.
With Genji, it could still be Muradin for Breeze. It could be Tyrael. It could even be a Tracer coming in as well to go full Overwatch mobility. Simplicity wants to have something that can resist that. They already have Bunker, which helps. They want to get a healer that can deal with Genji. It could be Uther. It's going to be Malf and Garrosh. I think Garrosh is smart. He is kind of the anti-cool hero defensive tank. The cool heroes, I group them as being Tracer, Genji, and Zeratul. So if he stands next to healer, he can do much to stop. I think Garrosh is the anti-melee assassin. He's not very good against long-range poke, but against melee assassins, he's king. So defensive tank, Garrosh.
I mean,
Malf, I do find it interesting.
Body check is great as well. Denies some of the Brightwing phase shift value. There's the Tyrael that you were talking about. But of course, Justin, we're getting into the last pick for the side of Simplicity. What are your thoughts on the drafts and what could potentially unfold here for Battlefield map number 3?
Grubby's on fire today. Just in case this is the last game of the day.
Put him out. Get him
Grubby, what do you think the last pick is? Just real quick before we.
Tracer.
Okay.
No, it can't be Tracer. Cassia. It's gonna be Cassia.
Okay. I just wanna see, because this could be the last game, and Grubby's been. Oh. Okay, this isn't the last game then. That's confirmed. So we've jinxed it, but you did call the Tyrael. It's a strange composition from Granite where they have the Vala, which feels slightly out of place alongside things like the Hogger and the Genji. Brightwing also doesn't do the best at sustaining a Vala. But you have things like the Genji and the Hogger that in a weird sense kind of create space for the Vala just by kind of being in that aggressive position where they're kind of creating pressure on their own. While they're not peeling for the Vala in a traditional sense, they might be diving the backline and kind of creating pressure in that sense. Simplicity's comp, though, it's very good when things are going well, when they're able to play front to back. You have the Garrosh, which I'm expecting to see the body check. The Garrosh tossing someone into the Malfruit, into the Tychus damage. It's an old school combo that's very, very strong. Tyrael is one of the tanks that does better against that than most. Brightwing also does a pretty good job of saving people who are getting thrown by the Garrosh here. I'm expecting the body check to kind of cut that Brightwing Z healing. The Vala is going to be probably the main person to focus on for the side of Granite. They should be relatively safe. I believe that'll be Azerite playing that. Azerite's going to need to play very well and never get caught by the Garrosh if they want to win. But once the Blaze starts getting thrown into the mix, that gets a little bit more difficult. I think Simplicity's composition is a little bit easier to play, but if Granite can get to level 10s and be even, they should be able to start trying to win some team fights with their level 10s. Until then, though, it should be Simplicity.
Well, let's see what happens here. Thank you, Justin, because Simplicity could close things out in a 3-0. Porky on the Garrosh, Wishing on the Malfurion, Berber on the Blaze, Duel on the Hanzo, and Tiger JK to hit to be playing the Tychus. Over on the side of Granite Gaming, we're going to be seeing Wubby on the Hogger, Breeze on the Tyrael, Smexy on the Brightwing, Poik on the Genji, and Azerite to play that Vala. It is not body check level 1, so I'm going to have to change my opinion here, but no, just kidding. It is going to be... I think Simplicity can take this one here, Grubby. I really like the way that their draft kind of unfolds as the game progresses with, as it was mentioned in the draft here, the toss onto Malfruit, you have Blaze Jet Propulsions. We also already saw Dulal's Hanzo in map number 1 landing some massive AoE arrows, so I'm expecting that from him again. I know it's not the same map, it's different draft, so grouping is a little different, but the expectation is Dulal will hit these massive arrows, Warlord's Challenge, Big Root, and Tychus just shreds. At least that's what I think. What are your thoughts on the draft or the map?
No idea at all. I've been rather obsessed with the meaningless details so far.
Oh, what's that?
Dulal used 3 abilities before the gates opened.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter anymore. Okay. Well, it's irrelevant now. It was irrelevant to begin with, and now even more so. But I'll finish the thought real fast before action breaks out. Dulal used his abilities. He went to 400 mana. He didn't port. He was just having fun with his skill shots. Didn't port, went out the gate. He slowly regenerated back up, but guess when he cast the Sonic Arrow? When he had 496 out of 500 mana. He was down 4 mana for no reason whatsoever than to flex his shots inside the gate. And I was just gonna look at that the next 7 minutes to see if he ever dropped to low enough mana that he would lack the mana to get a scatter kill. It'll be because of that. But he reached 500 max mana soon after, so it was no longer relevant. But imagine if it would have been. I wanted to make sure I could bring you that hot news drop.
It would have kept me up all night tonight, Grubby. Thank you so much. I was extremely worried. Like, will he have enough mana? It's just terrifying.
I know you were looking at it too.
I know.
You just didn't want to segue into that because you're too much of a damn professional. But I know
try.
we were both looking at it.
I try. I do my best from time to time. But meanwhile, in bottom lane, little back and forth. Level 4 is going to be hit first for Granite Gaming. We do have the Vala scaling the puncturing arrow, 5 stacks on that already. We will be seeing the repeating arrow, which is another great way to build up more stacking on that level 1. Hanzo scatters at 2 out of 20, and Garrosh has 6 out of the 15 stacks on the Warbreaker, meaning he's got the first section of rewards, the additional damage over time, just under 200 damage over 3 seconds. But as we see in top lane, Berber is holding this lane okay, losing 1 tower for now, but Tiger JK chunks into Wubby.
Nice damage there, nice damage. Got the Master Assassin. That's the best way to buff your Odin, the only way to buff your Odin. Tiger JK instrumental in the last 2 victories on Maiev, therefore it drew a ban. Now he's on Tychus. Let's see how that goes.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting patiently. I'm just like...
Breeze. No, he's not going for the one shot into a Malfruit. Just tossing him away.
Meanwhile, in bottom lane, I do want to point out that we do have Tiger JK pushing up that Fallen Shaman camp. We've got Berber in the top to clear out the opposing side one, and Tiger JK is going to be able to poke a little bit with that quarterback from level 1. Porky maybe looking to step in here a little bit low. Hogger finds a good bounce. That's a knock into the wall, a toss on Breeze, a root from Malfurion, a very low poik will fall first blood to the side of Simplicity, but it's not enough for them. They want more. Tiger JK, I don't think he was expecting that toss because he already started running the other way.
Nice route there from Wishing. Protected him and his teammates from Genji. Porky dropped low, but it was more of a bait than anything. Garrosh the hero that has his enemies exclaiming, They're so low, more than anyone, perhaps. Maybe perhaps together with Uther, by virtue of low health pools but high armor. Porky survived, and Genji, oik, went down.
Polymorph onto the Garrosh. He's got a lot of that armor available. He will try and avoid the stun from Belith. That's a stack again. That's a lot of damage. Indomitable pop. Porky tries to get away, but Wubby goes in deep and finds the kill. Berber and friends looking for some sort of counter kill as Breeze dives in. Phase shift from Brightwing will connect onto Wubby as he almost steps into the fire and he almost, cooks himself up in blazes oil.
Very nice defense from Granite. They're actually going to race instead of defending with everyone. And that turns out to be the right call. They get it down as quickly as possible. They know that Blaze is low on mana, that he's tied to cooldowns. So if they continue to attack with 1 while defending with 4, that may actually cost them more HP on their Immortal Shield than if they did a turnaround, send all 4 members, all 5, to finish off the Immortal. And they win with 4.6k HP left on the Immortal, and that's going to give a 3k shield. The Immortal in the field has slightly less HP than the Immortal that is up for grabs when you're attacking the objective in the center. So there's a percentage conversion of the remaining HP into the shield, but it is not quite as much shield as HP remains of the objective when you lose it.
A little bit of groundbreaker from Porky, zoning back the enemy as Belith continues his siege through bottom. We have the mount. Breeze tossed. Breeze trying to get away. Breeze will go down. That's another kill to the side of Simplicity as Genji's being chased right now. That's a huge groundbreaker. Smexy to fall. Toss onto Dual. That's a range assassin right in Azerite's face. And he will be able to back away. But that was great. That was great for Simplicity. They lost the objective. They lose fort front gate. They lose 50% of their fort, but they grab a couple of these kills. That's going to push the experience faster to 10 for the side of Simplicity. And early game objective, yeah, it's strong, but I feel like getting the second, third, fourth, and fifth, obviously, are really, really going to have that siege potential because the Immortal scales as the game goes on, minute by minute.
Yeah, exactly. This Immortal got half of a fort, which is quite a lot for the first Immortal. Sometimes it gets more, but it usually involves a certain Banshee Queen. This time, no Sylvana, so half a fort. Next one is sure to take down a fort, if there are any left standing by then. Granite Gaming does have 1 kill this game, but took a bit of a loss before that. You saw the move going for Hager in the top lane, but he gets away.
Hager's able to back away safely. 10 talents here, soon to be in favor for Simplicity, but with the rotation into top, the members of Granite Gaming look for this fort through bottom lane. Azerite's the target, Indomitable pop. That's a toss on to Brightwing. Smexy's got no tools to back away, no blink, and he already used that Soothing Mist before the toss did happen. Hanzo rips an arrow right into Azerite, but Berber is not in position to follow up with that, and we do have the Immortal spawning in the north-south positioning. We do have both of the Fallen Shamans to be grabbed by either respective team.
Very cool tech pick by Porky here on the level 7 Loktar Ogar. If you throw your ally in on the enemies, you can get a full reset of Into the Fray, but you would need to hit 4 enemies. Pretty rare to have that work out. Though it's good on Blaze, I suppose. But more than that, it offers 20 bonus armor on the ally that you were tossing. That's a really nice babysit tool to help your allied Malfurion. We've seen a bunch of Malfs in CCL so far, and they tend to be a big target because they no longer have access to the level 13 talent Ice Block. Garrus can help a lot with that.
Toss on to Breeze. Azerite was the initial target. The Commandeer Odin will be summoned by Tiger JK as Genji's trying to find some deflect value. Sanctification will be used. There's a bunker down from the Blaze Warlord's challenge, and I can't believe it. That's one of the Granite Gaming members falling. Simplicity was looking so low, but it's Simplicity who are on the chase. Dulal, you got a sliver of HP, bud. You better back up. And that will be the objective being forced and focused, by the members of Simplicity. Dulal needs to get some healing from Malfurion soon.
Yeah, Dulal pretty low. Gonna have to watch out for Vala if she comes back in, but she's showing on the map she's not going in.
No.
This is certainly a defense. This is certainly an interesting defense. A 3v5. Arrow hits Vala again. Wow, he's got heat seeking on that Vala.
I always remember the Freaky Flyers game where it's I can shoot guided missiles now. I don't know why that always pops in my brain whenever that happens, but it's a great game if you ever played it. One of those racing games for the N64. Or GameCube,
check it out.
GameCube. Not the N64.
If I ever get a GameCube.
You don't have a GameCube just sitting in your closet that sometimes doesn't read the disc correctly?
No.
No? Okay.
And I lost my Game Gear because I took it on a camping trip. And it rained and we didn't build our tent correctly. So the Game Gear was on the floor and it got wet. So sad.
All right, well, we're gonna have to find a GameCube for Grubby at the CCL LAN,
Game
and we're gonna
Gear,
play,
please.
and we're gonna play Freaky Flyers. That's what we're gonna do. But no, we do have the objective phase. Does go over the side of Simplicity, and they find a decent value with this, as it is gonna take down the fort front gate and about 50% of said fort in top. A little bit less.
Bahamut.
Yeah.
It's quite similar as last game. Simplicity is kicking behind in the team fights, but they are still behind in structures, just like Sky Temple.
Yeah.
Granite Gaming's Bruiser Camp 2 minutes ago pushed down top forward. They're in a good spot. Simplicity is looking to get some conversion kills on buildings with a little bit of a overpaid Odin. I mean, this is an Odin for like 10% of a fort. I don't think it was quite necessary, but okay, fine. 80-second cooldown now. And somehow, if Granite Gaming, like if you're ahead in structures already and then you get kills, it's fantastic. But if it keeps happening like this, eventually XP matters more than buildings. Even though buildings matter the most, but if you keep losing team fights, eventually Simplicity will turn it around. And why not should Simplicity get a 3-0? They're playing great today.
I'm hard pressed to disagree with you, to be honest. Like I'm like, yeah, I could see, the optimist in me is like, oh, let's have 5 games. Granted they can do it, everyone's gonna win, yay! But realistically, as we take stock of what's happening, when we look at all the team fights, when we look at how Simplicity is playing in this series, they're doing a fantastic job, and they are ahead in kills 6-1, almost a level lead from all of that. The talent tiers will be equal in a sliver of experience for the side of Granite Gaming, as the objective spawns here. North-south positioning once again. The Immortal that they need to race down the side of Simplicity will be in the bottom position. But Breeze, the target, gets away with the Algerian's might. The Vala might not get away. Sanctification.
Oh, good sanct!
Very good Sanctification. Poik able to back away as well.
Every single ult was used, even a premeditated Tranquility, just in case. Now there is a priority position on the race. Vala is starting to race top, and Breeze is starting the defense. Gonna have to respect the damage that can come out from Tiger JK though. Wooby is in a fantastic position. He shockwaves Malfurion. There's a staggering blow, and there's the 40 armor into the free from Garrosh. Borky does die for his support's sins though. It was a really nice flank by Wooby.
Yep.
Vala is still racing. Great moves by Granite Gaming.
Wishing the target, gets knocked away, drops the root, and that's a great Hog Wild to mitigate the sleep. The Hog Wild, they cancel it early. Wubby, he's able to back away, and Vala goes back to racing. The Immortal will hit the 50% mark, so it will be kind of swapping positions, the halftime show, as some of us like to call it, and that might be enough of a window for Garrosh to respawn, get back with his team, and engage Granite Gaming. Let's see what happens.
This is a trade position of the Immortal. Azurite sets his teeth into the Immortal immediately.
Yeah.
The Angel will fall. How much health will there be remaining? About 7,800. It's going to procure about a 6,000 point shield, during which time the Immortal will have a ranged attack.
Yep.
It's also completely pushed lanes, both top and bottom. Wooby is already going top again to start pushing out that top lane. And this is a good spot here for Granite Gaming. If they want to get a map victory, this is looking the most like it thus far.
The Immortal is going to be hitting for 1,492 damage into structures as Belith moves through the bottom lane. We have 15s apiece when it comes to our levels, a little bit ahead for the side of Simplicity, but I still think there's waves to be cleared out by Granite Gaming, and it still is probably very equal between the two. I'm sorry, Breeze.
Whoa. Whoa.
Luckily,
he didn't die.
Luckily, he's got it at the level 13, that sort of justice.
Yeah, but he almost played too much with it. These scrap materials thinking they can go back anytime, and look where it got him. That was a cool Garrosh toss and Malfurion route. And I think they could have just had him if he did a throw taunt Q, Groundbreaker. He didn't use taunt, so Tyrael got away.
Sorry, I'm waiting patiently to see what these actual engagements look like, because that's Porky popping Indomitable. Yeah, I don't know if Wubby gets out of this one alive, and he loses the camp. That's
the worst part.
That's the well, of course, yeah. Everyone knows the most important thing in Heroes of Storm is camps, and then the mini map, and then gameplay.
No, nobody uses the minimap. You're not going to tell me that. A little bit greedy by SMX to try and get wall kills under a large catapult wave. but he got away. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the speed talent at level 13. Yep, speed talent, pixie boost.
All right, so we'll have a 50% bonus movement speed, decaying 20% over 3 seconds. Porky stepping in over here. Hogger dead for 3 seconds. Azerite kind of getting vision for the team. I'm actually going to check Azerite's vision real quickly. And so they see Tychus Hanzo rotating to the top lane. The assumption is that Simplicity wants that top lane fort, and they should get it here.
Whoa, Oik goes in with... That was pretty crazy. Oh, but there was the minus 20 armor. Okay, it was actually Tiger JK that was taking a minus 20 armor. That's how Genji was able to nuke him for like 1500 damage.
Good also Swift Strike build coming out from said Genji, so he's also got some extra damage being applied for that, even with the final cut on top of that. On top of the Swift Strike, but now we see Breeze go in, driving around. He's already used Eldrune's Might. He pops the Sanctification. That's a big win for Simplicity, getting that heroic out. Warlord's Challenge, they want the kill. Wubby, oh wait, hold on. They need to spread out on the side of Simplicity. It's 10% death timer reduction to Tyrael for enemy heroes hit by explosion. But the big thing for Granite, they get 50% of the Immortal.
Yeah, and that's all they get. It's not safe anymore to step up. So what was going on there? Why did Tyrael not just sword out? I'm assuming he was between sword cooldowns. As Poik goes in deep, he threatens keep. Wubby threatens keep. There's a lot of mitigation here to the bad game state that we are in right now for Granite Gaming. They had Genji going top. He stopped doing that. He comes back in with the deflect. A lot of damage. Strafe. Tiger JK. Can he stay alive? Looks like yes.
Dulal is trying to back away from the Vala. Consistent damage. We will have the Immortal pretty equal. It's like 1,000 HP difference between these two Immortals. Porky set up in the bush. Sees Breeze. Breeze sees him. Poik over on the left-hand side of our screen, but we still have that top lane. That top lane is being cleared out by Hanzo because there was the camp. Warlord's Challenge once again. It's like deja vu. I have been here before. But also, Immortal going to top lane in favor of Granite Gaming.
6-second death timer mitigation for Tyrael. Did get one explosion hit, but I think it's time to ping Tyrael death timer here. SMX says X9 Tyrael. That means report him 9 times. But not that funny actually for Azerite. He's getting attacked here. Some really good peel. Good peel. I mean, Azerite, he was in the inty position. He's lucky he's got some angels watching over their shoulder. SMX's movement speed talent helped a lot. I think I saw a shockwave from Hager there.
I did.
Can we look at bottom lane once again?
Shockwave came out. Bunker to try and save the moment as Azerite has 29 stacks on their level 1. We have Hanzo trying to clear out the Immortal that should confirm the top lane for it, but the Jet Propulsion shy. It doesn't matter. Wait, does it? No, it does. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because I was like, wait, there's towers over there. Wubby dies. Immortal will take down the keep in top lane. Berber has to Jet Propulsion away. Smexy and Azerite looking for some decent damage. And the Hearth out from Berber. The Immortal scratches the shielding of Simplicity's core. Porky 1%. Playing with fire.
Oh, Porky. Oh, Porky goes down as well. Poik. Poik. X-Strike.
Oh, no. The X-Strike. He triggered the shots from the keep. Breeze goes in. He should die to Hanzo.
Uh-oh.
The snipe comes through. Oh, he's gonna...
worth it.
He takes down the keep with that. But 4 members. 5 members. Oh, nice. Sonic stun.
God.
That should be game to Simplicity.
Oh, God. Is it?
Death timers are long.
Odin's gonna be gone. They're missing Garrosh. He's not super important here.
Maybe it's close.
There's Bunker. I think you're right. I think it is actually core. Out of nowhere. You know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say Granite Gaming makes winning look the worst. And that's where I thought we were getting to. But now I'm not so sure anymore. Oh!
That is beautiful Berber right there. Hogger gets some bounces. Berber still targeted by the keep. We have 10 seconds on the Genji. And Wishing and friends, they leave. They leave.
The tower! The tower! Is it gonna shoot Malf? No, it's not. Is it gonna shoot Berber? One shot. Wubby 1v4.
Wubby needs to play this smart. Doesn't want to stagger out of death. Objective phase just now announced. 20 talent here equal. A win condition has been set by both teams. We've got 17% off the core of Simplicity. Shielding is back to max. 32 stacks on the Vala right now. The first Hungering Arrow is 192 damage plus the 307 as well. So we're at, what, like just about 500 damage on the Hungering Arrow. Just under 500 damage on the Hungering Arrow first hit. Also pair that into the level 20 Acrobat, you can be dealing nearly 2,000 damage with 4 Qs from Vala. Granted, you gotta land all 4 of those. This is terrifyingly close.
Breeze has to be careful. He has been abused a bit by Porky. This is a lot of damage that Simplicity did way early, and somehow Granite Gaming seems unconcerned. They're still focusing on top, focusing on bottom. Now they're going to have to defend. This is awkward, though, because, well, Vala gets a Hungering Arrow, does have Acrobat. There's some Caltrops.
Caltrops on the ground. Hogger defending around their Immortal. We have Hanzo to clear top, Brightwing to clear bottom. So we do see these respectively on the enemy maps here. Smexy showing the side of Simplicity, who clear out the Fallen Shaman. They get rid of that Catapult, and now the race, the fight, should begin.
He didn't dare to taunt Tyrael now. He knew it made... Oh, there we go. Oh, the level 20 shield. It's massive. It's big. It's not big enough. It is big enough. Sanctification pops through. Granite turns the fight.
Bunker down from Blaze. There's Azurite very low on the bottom of our screen as we have the healing out from Malfuri, and Wubby a little split from his team. Some scatter arrows do scout that out. Here comes the Commandeer Odin from Tiger JK. They're focusing onto the objective with the big red button. We do have the camp in top lane starting to work on that shielding. Hanzo gets the agility away. Hogger finds a decent bounce over here. At level 20, Hogger did not go for the no control. Tiger JK getting very low. Will go down, and that might be the nail in the coffin for the side of Simplicity. They've already got a low a low Hanzo, and Porky goes down. Granite Gaming are rallying here. Granite Gaming might take this.
Wow, Poik dominated these last 60 seconds. That was amazing play by Poik. You're against level 20 Odin, and he did it, man. He did it. Also, great level 20 pick by Breeze. Great level 20 pick by SMX. Without the Speedy Dragon and the 50 armor, it couldn't have worked. Now Granite Gaming is finally going to do it. They're going to get their first map victory today. Breeze left the game before the win. He got banned from the 9 reports.
That's game number 3 going over to the side of Granite Gaming, and the series is alive and well. No 3-0s today, as we are going to continue this series here. We got Justing back in the mix with us to break everything down. That was Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah, this is kind of scary. Granite Gaming seems to be beginning to understand the way that the game has changed since they last played, and their playstyle is indicative of that. We saw them being extremely annoying on the side of Granite Gaming on a macro front. I was feeling kind of bad for Simplicity when they were getting a lot of kills, but they were still falling behind in the game. And I'm not entirely sure if Simplicity within the game, when they're in like the heat of the game, if they're truly understanding why they're falling behind in the game, even though they're getting kills. It kind of feels like they're being stolen from almost, because Granite Gaming is constantly taking fights around the objectives better. They're taking fights kind of on the opposite side of the map from where the real where the focus of the game should be. There was a big moment in the middle of that game that was very, very weird, where it kind of highlighted the way that Granite is playing the game, where during the objective, Granite has Knights pushing top. They have Hogger going bottom to push in a 4v5 after Breeze dies. Breeze dies to get half the Immortal, and then you have Brightwing going bottom, who has to Z out because because SMX is split pushing in the bot lane as Brightwing, which makes you think that the fight is going to be lost when Breeze ends up dying as well because he doesn't have his Q cooldown. He has to sank for himself. But he's doing that to create space for them to get the objective, to get the Knights to push top, to create the bottom opening for Hogger to go push bottom. It's a bunch of rats. They're all ratting around the whole game. So even though they're losing the fights, it was 6-1 in kills, but Granite Gaming had 2 forts to 1. And then it was 14-3 in kills, and there was no keeps on the side of Simplicity. Even though they were 14-3 in kills, they barely had an XP advantage. Granite Gaming seems to be beginning to understand kind of how to exploit some of the changes that have came to the game since when they used to play the game, and they appear to be taking that on in stride with their kind of rat around the map, play where the objective is not, to kind of create pressure so that they can get XP and get structures through kind of, like, it looked like Breeze was inting on that one objective. We were saying like we should start looking at Breeze kind of start putting some focus on that. But when he's dying, his team is trading for the Immortal, so it's actually a good play, and it feels bad if you're Simplicity to put all these resources into getting this kill, because you put all these resources into getting the kill. It's like, wow, Breeze is inting, but then his team got the whole Immortal, so it's like, is he inting or is he making a big play? And it did finally turn into a big play at the very end when he gets the hardened off and doesn't die when it looks like he's gonna die for the however many times. And yeah, Granite is scaling in the series, and it feels like they're scaling in the season. Maybe this will be the final bottoming for Granite, where they start making their rebound after going down 0-2 to Simplicity. That would be kind of, I don't know, poetic or something for Simplicity to get their first 2 wins against Granite, and then for Granite to be the series where Granite flips and just starts taking everything. So who knows? Maybe we're in for a reverse sweep.
It's definitely possible. We haven't had one yet this season. Man, it's like season 3 was like the season of reverse sweeps, and now we're just kind of like, all like waiting. When does it actually happen? Because we're expecting it at some point. And maybe today is that day. I do think Simplicity had some shining moments, but Granite Gaming definitely strategic inting, maybe strategic dying from Breeze. A little bit of that. But that's at least what I call it when I die, and I'm like, yeah, we're totally getting value. It's I died, so my team gets a quadra kill. Sure, yeah, I'll take that every single day of the week. But we are getting ready for map number 4, and it still is a tense matchup between both these teams. We're going to find out where we're going to for map number 4. Could be the final one, could be the map where where Granite Gaming rallies to a game 5. We're heading, as Granite Gaming has chosen to take us, to Towers of Doom. Simplicity opting for first pick priority here, Grubby. Liking the Towers of Doom quite a bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Towers of Doom is a map that tends to end dreams. Sometimes that's how it feels like for me. Doom, after all, is not generally a positive thing, and in this case, for one of the teams, this will be true. Simplicity lost the only map that they picked, so if you are superstitious, this could be a good thing for Simplicity, or to close it out in a 3-1. Now, if you are thinking along the lines of how Simplicity has approached the last 2 maps, they went with the anti-cheese bans, map number 2. Yep. Then they took it to what they feel like is a teamfight map. And funnily enough, Granite Gaming made it not a teamfight map. They made it an objective-focused, push-focused map, where they lost the battles over and over, but won the objective enough times to get the victory. So they managed to turn Granite Gaming managed to turn Battlefield of Eternity into a Towers of Doom, Sky Temple, Cursed Hollow kind of map. If they can do that there, maybe they can do it again on Towers of Doom.
I mean, it's a large macro map, adjusting where we should see the solo laner doing some double soak between top and mid, so Wubby and Berber should see some decent brawling, but the big kind of conversation is that 4-stack in bottom lane and the fights around the sappers. What will the 4-stack look like? Will we see a dive-heavy composition from a team? Will we see maybe a defensive sort of kidnap combo? We could see Stitches here. It's Towers of Doom. This is arguably one of his better or best maps.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to see. I think we could see another Tyrael coming out from Breeze. That's something that we've seen quite a bit from him in the past so far, but that last game kind of showed what the playstyle is capable of, especially at the level 20 when he gets the hardened. And that's something that he's played quite a bit with the wormhole build, the teleport back and forth damage build for Tyrael. I'm expecting to see Granite do more of the same and play the sort of macro ratting playstyle against Simplicity, and it's kind of a game of cat and mouse, where Simplicity is the 4-man, the 5-man that is the single cat going and hunting Granite, and Granite is appearing to be the 5 mice kind of running all over the map. That's what it feels like. So I'm kind of expecting that to be the same case here on Towers, where there's even more places to go.
Well, we're just getting the readies out from both teams, and we're going to dive into Towers of Doom very soon. Will it be a game of cat and mouse, or will it be a game of Heroes of Storm? We will find out as we're just about to get into the draft here. No, I love Towers of Doom. I think it's a fantastic map. I've talked about that in the past. The one unique factor on this map for anyone that's new, you cannot go core and just end. You have to win through the map objective, or even the sapper camps damage because you need to fire in missiles across the map, each core having 40 HP. We'll get into more of that as the game starts to progress because, Grubby, we're in the draft, and bye-bye Vikings.
Bye-bye Vikings. Anti-cheese is still the name of the game for Simplicity. Last game, if anything, just proved it to them that if Simplicity is going to lose the game at all, it's going to be via macro and side lane pressure. Their team fights have looked good. They've been good at killing frontline. In this case, Breeze and Tyrael may also play a part in how Granite Gaming approaches their tank pick or their healing pick as well. Tyrael, in theory, should be safe, but he is lower health target. Yeah, I wonder if Granite Gaming will feel like they can go to that Stitches, because there's more ways to cheese than just with macro.
Yep.
Gorge kills, if the tank plays well and the follow-up is ample or sufficient, can also unbalance a game at any point in the game.
This is also a massive Medivh map, Justin. Like, Medivh is such a prevalent force on this map, and I'm really surprised we haven't seen much... Like, we haven't seen much banning onto him, but neither pick priority either.
Yeah, when Stitches was brought up, that's what I was thinking of as well, was the Stitches Medivh, because that is such a iconic combo, and not something that we've seen too much of. I believe Poik can play Medivh, and Azerite is so flexible. I've seen him play every role. I'm sure he can play Medivh as well. But on the side of Simplicity, not entirely sure if they have a Medivh player. I don't believe that they've shown it yet.
Right.
Not sure if either of these teams can play it. The Stitches, definitely something that we could look towards near the end of the draft. Brightwing's picked up, that makes sense. Junkrat is still available, and that is a big deal for either of these teams. Granite not finding the success with it last week, although it is nearly 100% pick and ban this season.
I think you're...
Junkrat Stitches is broken as heck.
Yeah, because you can... we've seen it throughout this season already. I mean, what was it? Cattle in week number 1 showcased it, or was it week number 1? I'm blanking. Maybe it was last season. Either way, it was just hook into steel traps are huge. We could see that Granite Gaming will grab the Junkrat Hogger combo here, Grubby.
Okay, Junkrat is there. The threat of Stitches has been put on the board, but it is not necessary. My second favorite tank together with Junkrat is Garrosh, as you can still manipulate people's position and throw them into traps. Alternatively, you get a more aggressive Junkrat style where you're not putting someone in a trap, but you're putting a trap on top of a stun. This works pretty well together with Muradin and maybe Mal'Ganis. Well, Mal'Ganis has many other issues that will probably prevent him from being picked, but hey, who knows?
I mean, Mal'Ganis does like to feed, so we could see that, like Breeze.
Oh,
what?
He used to be one of the lowest death tank players, Breeze. But and like you said, it was tactical last game.
Yeah.
It bought time for the objective.
Yeah, I mean, Justin knows how great, Entomb with Blind as a Bat.
Blind as a Bat.
Yeah, we did that in one of the Please Try This at Homes, where I entombed people and then Justin just pushed buttons blindly. It was great. It actually worked out. Like,
yeah, it's really strong.
Pretty good.
it's actually super strong, yeah, because even if you aren't doing it into the back of the Entomb, I think that just touching the edges counts for like the animation canceling of hitting a terrain with Blind as a Bat. It's actually, it's super strong.
So there you go. Please try that at home, just not in my Storm League games. We do have a Falstad Diablo ban. I do want to get your thoughts here, Justin, because there has been some draft evolution.
Yep, the Junkrat does get picked up by Granite Gaming. Simplicity not wanting to get cheesed this game. They have the Brightwing and the Dahaka. We'll see whether that's enough. So they have double global. That should help. They also have the Sylvanas, so that there's not going to be any threat of the... just kind of walking up to a bell tower or a fort and destroying it with just the Sylvanas. We now have Rhaegar Johanna picked up, so a ton of wave clear on the side of Granite Gaming between their support and their tank, which these are not the roles that typically have wave clear, and they also have Junkrat as a goalie. Their last pick can be basically anything for Granite Gaming. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Genji if it's not the tankiest tank come out from Simplicity, but they might need some tank killing on the last pick from Granite. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, here's a Muradin. The Kerrigan's surprising. Overloading with CC, going for the pick comp.
Closest thing to Maiev been banned a couple of times, and when he didn't have it and was unranged, he didn't like it as much. He's like, well, even this level 20 Odin died to them. That's kind of silly. But now he's going to go with Kerrigan. Let's see if he can do the same thing as he did with Maiev. What's going to be the final pick? Is it going to be a Cassia? Is it going to be a Genji? There is a lot of CC against Genji that would be scary. Oh, hammer! Cool.
That's honestly, that's scary. I'm not gonna lie.
I like that a lot. They really protected this hammer pick because you have Junkrat to protect with defensive tools. There's Johanna blinds. Hammer has plenty of armor and pushback herself. I like it.
I do as well, but Justin, do you like it?
Yeah, I definitely like that. They've got Granite Gaming. Granite Gaming has nearly untargetable people against the pick composition of Simplicity. Simplicity's composition is very CC heavy. It's very pick comp oriented. It's not very siege heavy. They only have the Sylvanas that really sieges. Fortunately, it's Towers of Doom, so you don't really need to siege to end the game. But you have Kerrigan with CC, Murden CC, the Haka, Brightwing CC, even Sylvanas level 20. But you have Unstoppable on Hogger, Unstoppable on Johanna, Unstoppable on Hammer, Rhaegar with Cleanse. It's not a bunch of easy targets to get onto. So Simplicity going to have to be flawless with their comboing of the CC if they want it to actually be meaningful. Whereas Granite has a perfect rat composition where they can run around the map. Sergeant Hammer can split push. You can't siege into Junkrat. Johanna and Rhaegar can clear waves as the tank and the healer. I think we're in for more of the same, where we have team fight pick composition from Simplicity versus macro, run around the map, run them around the map Granite.
One more question, Justin. Is this one of the few situations you'd like to see Falling Sword?
Yeah, it's definitely good here to have if you never get engaged, if you can't get engaged on, you pretty much can't lose for Granite because they always win the slow fight. So yeah, I think it's good here.
Alrighty, well thank you Justin for your in-depth analysis as we're here on Towers of Doom. We got Simplicity in the blue, Granite Gaming in the red, and we're going to get into mid lane, see what our first little engagement will be looking like. As we take stock of the level 1s, I wrote down a Simplicity win, but that Sergeant Hammer pick has made me nervous. I'm not going to change my vote. I do really like the explosiveness of Simplicity's draft. There is, as Justin was mentioning, so much good control and self-survivability for Granite Gaming. We'll have to see how Simplicity can break through the barrier and make it on through to the other side. Of course, Grubby, what are your thoughts on the drafts here?
I think Granite has a massive draft victory. I'd love to play Hammer into this composition. Murden's not the easiest target to poke down, but you can still stop his engage with Dwarf Toss, just with a Concussive Blast. Usually, Hammers these days are picking Lifesteal at 4 to remove stress from the healer and to allow some solo plays. This might be a situation where it is appropriate to go for the Unstoppable at 4, though it does kind of work in a weird way, where yes, you're unstoppable, but you're not allowed to use Hyper Thrusters to get away. For if you do, you immediately lose Unstoppable, and usually it's better just to stay put, armor up, push people back, and use Thrusters when you think it's safe, rather than relying on Unstoppable. Kerrigan combo just misses. Look at Hammer just shelling away with some expertly microed right clicks.
Very good right clicks. Almost as good as Jimmy right click, and Porky gets the Dwarf Toss away. Haunting Wave from Dual will be triggered. There's going to be a staggering blow that doesn't really find the knock into the loot stash from the Hogger. Now, Grubby, you had mentioned saying that you want to play Sergeant Hammer, and I'm going to hold that thought really quickly because there's a cleanse from Smexy onto Poik. Porky on this Murden wants the kill. Phase shift from Brightwing does come through. I saw Grubby this past week. I saw a very, I guess it depends on the perspective. I guess from your perspective, I saw a very sad clip of a Sergeant Hammer getting body blocked by a Tracer.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I got flamed that game too. I think that was pretty cool.
Did you? Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is a mean mean thing to bring up. Sorry, I meant it all in good fun.
I saw that, but I think that's like the only time that it didn't just feel completely oppressive. Like that was one game where. And there was a lot going on in that game, but generally when you take Hammer and you're not hard countered by one of the few picks that really destroys Hammer, and I'm thinking of pretty much like Kel'Thuzad, Leoric, Stukov are my 3 #1 enemies. When it's not like that, Hammer typically just feels really good, and I think she's criminally underpicked, and I think you want to have defensive picks together with her, either bruisers with nice CC and damage mitigation, or people like Tychus and Junkrat that really make people regret jumping in. That's a double combo. That's pretty good. Tiger JK looks pretty good on Kerrigan, but in the disengage, they're just taking free hits.
Disengage indeed. The self-cleanse from Poik was used. We also saw the purge from Smexy being utilized. A shield glare from Breeze does delay out Wishing, and Porky and friends, they're trying to get a counter kill onto Azurite. Azurite is a little low. Poik was just, as you were saying, shelling away. We'll see 8 shots into the core of Granite Gaming, 4 shots into the side of Simplicity. The double soak continues. Yeah,
it was well done by Tiger JK. He had very low health, but he jumped in to get a combo, and he also blocked all of the frag launchers. So this gave Simplicity the double objective channel, even if they were struggling in the fight. That was really solid.
Good play so far from Simplicity. Granite Gaming doing good control overall. I'm just looking at the camps to be grabbed here on the camp on the right-hand side. We have a minute till the Sapper camp over on the left. Now, Wubby, I don't know if he saw Porky right there, and Wubby should be able to bounce away here. That's right.
Oh, nice Stormbolt, nice Stormbolt. I think he's dead. I think he's dead. Yep. First blood.
Nice job from the side of Simplicity. But here's the big thing now, Grubby. Sergeant Hammer's got Hover Siege.
Yep.
That's a big tool for Sergeant Hammer now.
Yeah, now with Hover Siege and with the Unstoppable, he can 100% shrug off either a Kerrigan or a Muradin engage and still do the pushback. It does mean he cannot use Hyper Thrusters as an escape, because he must remain for 2 seconds in that siege mode to make the Unstoppable run its full course. But this is a very strong pick here for Sergeant Hammer. He's not going to rely on lifesteal. He's got his pocket healer with him in SMX. Let's see how it goes. Some of you may be wondering, why haven't we heard comms from Granite Gaming yet? Well, they're a full team of Swedish players, and as such, I think about 7% of chat may understand what they are talking about here. Nonetheless, we shall try to maybe jump in once during this game, just so you can kind of get a vibe check, emotion check.
Maybe post 10s when there's a single altar. That's typically when we see the most excitement, or we hear the most excitement in comms. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that one for everyone at home. But yeah, I mean, the best we can do is use context clues from what we hear. If we hear something about a hero, we're like, oh, maybe they're talking about so and so. We can only just do our best to just pick things up from what we can derive from their language.
I know like 110 Swedish words, so if there's any of them that I know, I can be like, they said that.
Oh.
They said the word that, and like, yeah, we can kind of infer more from that.
It's better than my French. I know about like 20, 30 French words, so.
Pretty good. Oh, Kerrigan just went down. Yep, nice job.
So we do have bottom continue to be sieged out. 10 talents here first for the side of Granite Gaming. Sergeant Hammer holding, actually going to go BFG. Okay, Blood Force Gun for the Sergeant Hammer. That
interrupts on the altar from afar. Maybe even Orbital BFG, hands up.
Could see Orbital at 20. We have been seeing the Hyper Cooling something at level 20. But hold on, Drag will connect. Azerite very low. Nice. That's a great Ancestral.
Very good Ancestral there, hitting just in time. That's a pretty good BFG. Nice burst damage. What you should know about BFG is that it does 2.5 times as much damage as Napalm Strike on the impact, but it has a cooldown that's like 12 times longer. Overall, see, yeah. Did he have Hyper Thrusters available? He did not. So, sieging up when you don't have your mount available as Hammer is very risky. Until level 13, where you get massive CDR on sieged auto attacks for your Hyper Thruster. So that's a risk he willingly took. Generally, you shouldn't take it. Don't siege if you don't have your mount. He paid the price for it.
So now, we do have that single altar, but with Sergeant Hammer dead for a second or two longer, wishing we'll get this without... Oh no! Oh no!
Huh?
Sometimes here in bottom lane, sometimes there's a feature, if you will, where the sappers get stuck on the gate and they continue to charge in. It's a rare thing, and there's no way to like trigger it. It's just random. Either way, we are going to continue to see the fight break out through bottom lane as the double soakers or the solo laners will continue to solo soak between lanes. Tiger JK just taking a very obvious rotation, getting knocked around. There's a grab, a combo, doesn't work out. Tiger JK backs away.
Boyk is taking the risk again of sieging up when he does not have thrusters available. He's at a 15-second cooldown. But the pain train continues with his pokes. Tiger JK as Kerrigan for his full damage combo does need more minion stacks, about 37, in order to complete his full damage profile.
Berber just brush-stalked into the bottom lane and then went back to soaking mid and top. So I wonder if there was some sort of call from Granite Gaming to make a play into mid or into bottom. Not 100% sure about that brush stock. It is on a 45-second cooldown now, as Azerite will finish out the camp over in the top lane. Dahaka, assumingly, should be able to clear this out before it gets much value into the keep, or into the fort right now. And I'm looking at the next objective. It's going to be a double objective, mid lane, bottom lane, 30 seconds away.
Okay, hypercooling engines comes in here. Thrusters will come back off of cooldown much quicker now.
So while in siege mode, hitting heroes with basic attacks reduce thrusters by 5 seconds. Thrusters have a baseline 30.
Baseline, and a double hits count, triple hits count. So,
like splash and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we've got, let's see, we take stock, we got all of our heroics ready to go. Is this the time we get into Granite comms?
Yep, let's go!
Jag sitter på det.
Syl var ingen.
Jag kan stunna, okej.
De
kör bort, ja. Jag ultrar dem.
Ja, ingen silver och ingen
De
silver.
använder silver och...
De har TP'at. Ja, Kerrigan.
Kerrigan?
Jag tar ingenting.
Han är låg.
Jag kan smälla den.
Murra.
Burra. Jag kan köra hoppet.
In i rot!
De på mig nu. Jag är fine, tror jag. Jag är ISO. Nice.
Kerrigan har ingen kokon.
Jag ser ingen.
Jag springer kappåt. Tack, har ingen essence, vi har easy camp uppe.
Jag går mid.
Jag
har ingenting för det. Jag ser inte.
Kul.
A great team fight for Granite Gaming. They should be able to get the full 8 shots out, and that will be the case. Well played, and good timing for us to get in there.
And good communication as well by Granite Gaming. I can share some of my Swedish with you.
Yay! Let's hear it, Grubby.
Kerrigan har ingen cocoon. Kerrigan doesn't have cocoon right now. Inge or Inte is
that was
not.
honestly my guess.
We saw the cocoon being used. Pretty cool to see the Rip Tire and BFG coming out. Oh, Poik doesn't have thrusters yet. 15-second cooldown. He siege up again. He gets 4 seconds. And he has it back. Okay, so that's how that works. So now he has thrusters again. That was pretty scary.
I'm looking. Muradin doesn't have the heavy impact, so he doesn't have that slow when he lands, but he does have the Skullcracker. Here comes Kerrigan once again trying to make something happen. There's going to be the Unstoppable. Another engagement. They're trying to get Hammer, but it doesn't work out. Riptire from the Junkrat. Blessed Shield by the Joanna. Dulal is low, so is Porky, who gets separated from the team. Dulal gets the Haunting Wave away. Tiger JK trying to get something. Dulal gets another Haunting Wave. The Shockwave will not connect. And Porky gets out. Everyone disengages. Wait, maybe not everyone.
Question mark?
Maybe?
He wishes he did.
Wait, but the Ultralisk, maybe?
Kerrigan, Tiger!
Kerrigan tries to back away.
Kerrigan had ingen cocoon, but she gets away too.
How is this fight not yielding kills for Granite Gaming? Look at Berber on the top right of our screen. He's waiting. He's looking. He's waiting too long. Berber, go in!
Never let your enemy know your next move. Oh, Drag Tongue. 1v4 though, 1v5.
Cuddling Claws will speed him away. He does have the Lurker Strain from level 4. Triple objective phase coming up, and Poik zoning back Porky. God, what a fight we just saw!
Yeah, masters of getting away. True Houdinis here. Simplicity with the way that they survived there from seemingly impossible odds. Going in on Hogger. Where's the combo? Hog Wild. Yeah, just enough time to get away. Nice for Wooby.
Steel Trap onto Porky. Kerrigan jumping to these mines as Dulal is trying to go for the Channel Breeze. Is going to interrupt once with just his presence. Poik is stepping up here. That's going to be a Shockwave onto Porky, who gets the phase shift from the Brightwing. Brushstock in by Berber. He's looking for something, but he gets stalled out by the... by this Blessed Shield from this Joanna as we see the Sergeant Hammer to fall. Azurite gets the Concussion Mine Explosion to save himself. Dulal and friends are low. Tiger JK stepping forward to anchor for the team as Porky is going to get some of his trait back here. And now the camp goes over to the side of Simplicity. They get 8 shots into Granite Gaming's core, taking 4 themselves. It's 20-16 in core HP. Boss is still up, and the Concussive Mine does not work out for Azurite there.
Nice job by Simplicity there. They finally got Sergeant Hammer. Porky gets away as well with the Dwarf Dust. Tiger JK feels like there's opportunity for more. I wonder if this is a grave misjudgment. He does still get the Kerrigan heal. Does that still work when you're in Cocoon? Yes, it does apparently. Inge Cocoon! And Tiger JK gets away again. He goes back in.
Ancestral into Breeze. The Skullcracker getting a couple of extra stuns there. Dahaka's up in the top lane. At this point right now, the tunnel has opened up from the Gravekeeper and the Ravenlord. That also means that the towers have been upgraded. Dulal is going to scout out Granite Gaming, who's rushing into this. I'm checking the Dahaka Brushstock, 2 seconds from being off cooldown.
One trap hits, second trap goes on Muradin. That's a big wailing. Kerrigan was looking at Junkrat, but he maneuvered himself out of range. Nice BFG poke damage, Shockwave, bless shield! Tiger JK goes down, Savanas gets away with 48 health.
Will the Forsaken will be popped right there, and Porky almost gets a kill onto Azerite, but now Porky, the one to fall. Phase shift from Brightwing. Whoo-wee, if she came through, I think that would have been triple kill. And now Granite Gaming, it's a single altar, but what Sergeant Hammer wants to do is start whittling down this mid lane keep.
I feel orbital BFG coming up. I feel a north to south orientation for a BFG going through the 3 forts.
Yeah.
Haven't seen this. We've known about this secret tech, but we generally don't really see this.
Damage to structures anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh,
but you could do north to south. You could do north to south in the center of the map, and that would scout out boss and get an interrupt onto 2 altars as Dulal is trying to get out of bottom lane.
I knew he was not at risk. I've seen him get away with 48 health too many times to even remotely feel worried for him right there. But yeah, BFG still has some opportunities. You can do it past the double altar or something, and periodically get cancels. That can be neat. You can push out waves in a singular lane, or you can just go ultra capacitors. Or you know what? You can just get the triple tower conversion, defend bot, get level 20, and get the 2-2.
It might be 2-2 if this bottom lane can be held. Dahaka's brush stalking down here. That's a Riptire from Junkrat, a Shockwave from the Hogger. It's looking like Porky's low. Porky will fall to the Nexus forces, and we do continue to see the shots raining out. No control from Hogger! Is gonna set up the kill. He goes in, he sacrifices himself, but he's gonna get that kill. And ladies and gentlemen, soon we will start to see the tower shots continue to actually increase in speed. There's going to be a point where the tower shots, and it's actually right there, you can actually see the tower shots, before it even connects to the core, they're speeding up. This happens after it's X amount. I can't remember the specific stat on it.
I want to see Dahaka. I know the core is dying. Let's look at Dahaka. He's still fighting. He gets a kill on Pit Fighter Rhaegar. But,
and he finishes out his level 1 enhanced agility. Ladies and gentlemen, that's
boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. Binky Bonky. That is the end of game number 4, and that will be the members of Granite Gaming equalizing. Grubby jesting. We're on the precipice of a reverse sweep. Can Granite Gaming do it? Can Granite Gaming get their first series victory? Or will Simplicity shut it down in the next map? Justing, before we talk about the next map, let's talk about Everything Towers of Doom and how that went to Granite Gaming.
That was very back and forth throughout all of the early game. I was surprised that Simplicity was able to do as well as they did in the early game with their pick comp, trying to play into the nearly unpickable composition of Granite. And throughout the series, we've seen a lot of Simplicity trying to be this 4-man deathball, 5-man deathball into Granite, trying to play a lot more macro. This game, Granite was doing both. They were both winning the team fights and the macro at the same time, and it seems like we're kind of watching Granite evolve as a team and become a little bit more scary. I said that it would be a bit poetic to have them lose give Simplicity their first 2 wins.
Yeah.
Their only wins, and that be where Granite kind of makes their stand and goes, okay guys, what are we doing? we just gave them their first 2 wins. Like, this is where we start taking it a bit more seriously. We can't be falling behind like this, losing to Simplicity, and that seems to have done something to Granite. Granite seems a little bit angry now. They're playing good on a macro front. They're playing well in the team fights. There was a couple of shaky times there, but for the most part, Granite Gaming, the moment they get a minor advantage in a team fight, it becomes a huge advantage on the map. And that is something that in the state of the game right now, being able to take a small advantage and make it into a huge advantage like Granite is doing in this series right now, it's a very, very useful skill to have as a team, because it requires all of the members of your team to kind of all be on the same page without having someone telling everyone what to do. It's a lot more they're all intuitively just kind of understanding what they need to be doing, which is that veterancy that they have, where all of them are players who have played at the highest level. A long time ago, they were all kind of at the peak of Heroes of the Storm, and it's showing through now. Finally, about halfway through the season, we're seeing it now in their series against Simplicity. I'm scared for Simplicity. I'm expecting this to be a reverse sweep the way the momentum is feeling. the way that when Granite Gaming loses a team fight, they're still winning somewhere on the map. It doesn't feel the same for Simplicity. Simplicity feels very one-dimensional. They're winning their team fights. Without the Maiev, it doesn't feel as easy for them to win those fights. And Granite Gaming, they just seem like a different thing. Like they're unlocked. They've learned something. They've had the epiphany moment or something as a team. I'm expecting a Granite Gaming reverse sweep, and I'm excited to see if they can actually make it happen here.
Well, we're gearing up for map number 5 in our second best of 5 of the day, and of course we're going to take a short little break to stretch our legs, get rehydrated, and get ready for our final map in the day. In this little break, I encourage you to hit !prize pool in chat. I'll get you over to the match arena, and because of your generosity, we're at $10,624.44. Thank you everyone at home who has been donating, supporting, lurking, cheering, everything in between for HeroesCCL Season 4. We really love bringing you all these games, and we look forward to our next map. Will it be the reverse sweep for Granite Gaming? Will Simplicity find their first series victory? Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and we are ready to go into our map number 5 between Simplicity versus Granite Gaming. Two teams enter. One team wins, or I guess leaves with their first series victory. Something like that along the lines. But either way, thank you all so much for joining us as we're getting ready for this next map. And Justing, how you doing, bud? You ready? You excited? You feeling energetic?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see Granite. I want to see Granite. I want my power rankings to look good, so I need Granite to close out this game and get the reverse sweep.
Always about
I'm ready.
himself, eh? All right, well, Grubby, you're mid-sip of a beverage, so how are you doing? Now's the perfect time to ask you a question.
Yeah, I think this is... oh, you made me... No, I'm just happy we're here in a 2-2 score. Our two teams that we're both looking for their first victory. If Granite wins, they both won something because, you know, Simplicity got their first map, Granite got their first series, everyone's happy. But then again, Simplicity came so close, and it'd be sour for them to lose at this point. Justin mentioned the momentum shift. I also think that Granite is starting to play better in these series. That was a better draft. That was generally a better execution. So it does feel this way. That Granite will take the 5th, but it will all come down to the gameplay. In moments where you are most in crisis, you can show the most character. Perhaps Simplicity will pull through here.
Well, let's see where we're going to go to for map number 5. And we can discuss further about, well, our thoughts on who can win this, because it is going to be a map choice by Granite Gaming, choosing to take us to Cursed Hollow as Simplicity opted in for first pick priority. Justing, a gigantic map that is Cursed Hollow. Sergeant Hammer, Abathur with Samuro, Probius. I'm just kidding. There's a lot of like niche, interesting picks that I feel like Granite can go for and maybe catch Simplicity off guard, because the last 2 maps have kind of felt like Simplicity have been caught off guard. Simplicity.
Yeah. And the thing that's scary about it is it doesn't really feel like Granite needs to pick something specifically cheesy and macro focused to be able to still win in the macro department against Simplicity. So
yeah,
Granite, very scary right now on a big map. Simplicity unable to get their Maiev since the first 2 games, and it has felt like that may be kind of what they were relying on to be able to get those early picks. I feel like at this point, the way that Granite is playing, even if Simplicity were to get the Maiev, I don't believe that Granite would be kind of falling to it in the same way that they did in the first 2 games. It really feels like Granite has taken the momentum, and something seems to have changed for them, like a overall game philosophy even like feels different for Granite from the first 2 games to now. It feels like we're watching a little development of the team in real time within the series. That's kind of how it feels. So I'll be surprised if Granite doesn't kind of stick to the same kind of idea, but maybe even start winning the team fights like they were in the last game while doing it. It really feels like Granite has kind of come into their own in playing the way that they want to play, and kind of combining their veterancy of their macro understanding with kind of the modern team comps, modern team fight meta, just the way that fights play out. It really feels like Granite is just scaling in the series.
Well, we do see the Maiev ban once again. Junkrat's up and available. Will Simplicity rush for Junkrat here, or is it going to be Dahaka Brightwing like we've been seeing from some of the other games? Really curious about the opener for Simplicity. This is obviously Grubby, it's critical. I mean, what you grab here.
Yeah, Brightwing, I think that's a solid pick.
Okay.
This map, it shuts down at least like 10 out of the 90 heroes that HoTS has.
Yeah.
Brightwing herself, because if you pick it, the opponent can't have it. And also a number of cool heroes like Tracer, Genji, Zeratul are much more risky to be played into a Brightwing. You can stop a Diablo charge as well to make sure that he can't overpower, so it's a solid opening pick. Ogre Junkrat. Azerite looked really nice on Junkrat last game, and Wooby used Hogger fairly well as well, I'd say. Yeah.
We actually, when we're in the Granite Gaming comms, we actually heard them kind of like popping off because Azerite got the alley-oop, if you will. He got the concussion mine into the steel trap during that team fight. And we actually heard him like, I don't know if they said alley-oop or maybe it was a Swedish word that sounded like it, but they seemed very happy about that moment, getting Porky kind of launched into that steel trap. But Justing, it's a Dahaka Hanzo to the side of Simplicity.
Feels very similar to what Simplicity's been doing so far. I mean, both teams getting what they want in the draft right now. I can't help but feel like Granite just getting things that are maybe a little bit better right now. Dahaka's good and the global's nice, but Hogger in teamfights seems to do quite a bit more if you have good follow-up for it. And Junkrat, being able to get that from second pick feels like something that just shouldn't really happen. Simplicity opting to take the Brightwing instead of the Junkrat feels kind of like a mistake, and I guess that's Granite getting sort of paid off for their playstyle in the series, needing the Vikings ban, needing the Falstad ban. Maybe the Falstad is a little bit too early to prioritize. I do like the Johanna ban quite a bit, especially if Simplicity is planning to go into another CC heavy pick style composition. Then banning Breeze off of the Johanna is very good. I'm expecting him to take either the Tyrael or the Muradin, but he's also played things like ETC, so he could really go with anything. It's a little bit scary blind picking a squishy tank here, though, when you know Simplicity's likely to pick a CC heavy pick comp.
Rhaegar and Nubarak, so good initiation, good. I mean, you got the cleanse baseline. It's looking good, Grubby.
Yep, Nubarak is a really nice pick here. You are not as vulnerable with a Nubarak into a Hanzo as you would be into a Vala or a Greymane. Those tend to kind of out-mobilize and dodge his stuns and then also do a lot of auto-attack damage back onto him. But there is still space for a Greymane in theory. Could be like Greymane Muradin coming out. Muradin has pretty good auto-attacks. It's going to be Tyrael Genji. So we've got the double Shimada HGC Wonder duo. And, you know, when they were played all the time because they were like stupidly broken because Blizzard tried to save the game by bringing in Overwatch heroes because then everyone is going to come over from Overwatch and play HoTS. They're not as broken anymore. They're still pretty darn good. They're going to be used together here in a... This could actually be Sanctification and Dragonblade from Genji, following up on a Hanzo Arrow. Strong combo.
Like the Shimada Bros is cool, but I'm all Granite Gaming here. What do you think about this, Justing?
Yeah, I'm also all Granite Gaming here. I think they just have the momentum in the series. You have the Anubarak with the potential for Cocoon if we do see a Dragonblade from Genji, one of the older counters. They don't have anything that breaks the Cocoon too easily outside of the Dahaka W, and he likely won't be in position to do that. You have the Junkrat CC plus Anubarak CC. Manus has it, Hogger has it. Rhaegar very good at stopping anyone from getting one shot. The one thing that might be difficult is SMX and Junkrat. Poik and SMX on the Rhaegar and the Junkrat, very squishy backline heroes, and into something like the Tyrael and Genji that may be a bit difficult. Once again though, Simplicity has a bit of an issue with, outside of the Dragon Arrow from Hanzo, there isn't really any other follow-up onto a backline dive from the ranged in Hanzo. He doesn't really contribute beyond that, so if the arrow itself doesn't lead to a one-shot on the backline, he can't really contribute to the rest of the fight if all the members of Simplicity are diving in. They don't have quite the same type of CC setup that they found success with Porky now playing the Tyrael. But I think stylistically, it really feels a lot different for Simplicity. Whereas for Granite, it kind of feels like the same kind of style they've been playing. They have the better macro, they have Sylvanas, they have a Nubarak with Beetles, they have Rhaegar, they have Junkrat to, stop all the pushes. So this feels much more Granite comfort. So I'd be going for the Granite, calling for the reverse sweep.
Alrighty, well, let's see if that will happen, because we got our teams ready to go. Simplicity in the blue, Porky on the Tyrael, Berber on the Dahaka, Dulal on the Hanzo, Wishing on the Brightwing, Tiger JK on the Genji. Over on the side of Granite Gaming, potential reverse sweepers over here. They got their brooms out, and Granite Gaming, we'll be on the Hogger, Poik on the Sylvanas, Azurite on the Junkrat, Breeze on the Anubarak, and Smexy on the Rhaegar. I've already said that I believe that Granite Gaming can reverse sweep this. I do think that Simplicity has some cool tools, but I just feel like Granite Gaming, they've just got an answer for everything, and I really think they just got such a stellar draft here, Grubby. What are your thoughts?
Yep. Very, very strong and not too hard to execute here, the draft for Granite Gaming. Loads and loads of CC with a triple front line, double back line who are relatively independent. We're not talking Rainer Gul'dan here. We have Junkrat Sylvanas. It looks pretty darn good. Tiger JK is going to be tested from a different angle once again. So far, passing with shining colors. Straight through the wall with his swift strike. He has played Maiev, he has played Kerrigan. We've seen him on Tychus. Now we're going to see him on a kind of quasi-range / melee assassin in Genji. And he's already found his first mark.
Alrighty, so first blood to Simplicity. They grab how much experience with that? They got 304 experience. Wahoo! I think the minion experience is already like quadruple, maybe like 5 times that or something. But either way, it's you're also denying some experience for minion waves as well. Azurite doing a good job of rotating these minions. Actually, if we can stay on this for a second, you can actually, Justin showed this to me. You can make it so that when you're getting a bruiser camp, you can actually position one of the knights so that it never actually hits you and only 2. So you can like constantly do that kind of box that Azurite was doing. So if anyone's wondering why he's moving in that specific way, it's actually to deny hits from that third guy, because if you just stand still and you're not moving around the camp, all the minions will start to just smack you and reduce your health way too quickly. So
yeah, they all have
little
higher
tech right there. Yeah.
They all have higher attack rate, and all of them are attacking. This is how to do it. It would have been scary if he got invaded, but he's died. Breeze doesn't hit his stuns. There is a trap there. I think Tyrael didn't see that there was a trap there, and the concussive punched him into the wall. But Wishing will save him. Now, where did Wishing port from? Was it top? I think maybe it was from top.
I think you are right, yeah. I can actually peek really quickly. I think the Brightwing was floating around in top lane. Brush talk into the bottom lane from Dahaka. Poik is the target, gets the Haunting Wave, and Berber will now use the drag onto the Siege Giant purposefully. That way it's closer to the 2 towers. But Anubarak not landing the burrow there. That's another one from Breeze not connecting. Gotta be a little critical, because that is a big factor for this Anubarak. You want to land that burrow, follow up with the Impale, body block, and then continue to just CC and lock the enemy down. But let's talk about the next objective, or the first objective, because it is going to be spawning here in the bottom center of the map.
All right. SMX, they're going to ambush a Genji. Let's see how that works out for you. Not at all. But he's fine. No counterattack. We have Porky coming bot. Yep.
I just want to point out Might of the Banshee Queen for the... Or not Might of the Banshee Queen, sorry. It's the Possession at level 4. Misreading the talent icon there. But Possession to steal away minions. So you can steal away... I think you get 3 charges. Yeah, you get 3 charges every 12 seconds. And you are able to steal away singular minions. You can use all 3 charges to steal a catapult away. Good way to kind of counter siege waves. But here comes another fight around the objective.
Next, running away. That's a lot of deflect damage. Pretty nice play by Tiger JK. He's looking good in this series.
Do see the Dream Shot as well for that Brightwing at level 4. More poke out from Brightwing as well. Azurite going for the channel. Porky trying to interrupt and doesn't get an auto, but he does manage to die.
Yep. Went down. Nice layered CC there. Never easy to play into tank. To play tank into Junkrat as Tiger JK goes in. That's a full shuriken on Junkrat, but it was too late. And Hanzo goes down to Poik and Breeze.
That was Genji was trying to delay it out, and Tiger JK put the shurikens all into into Junkrat, and they didn't spread. Yeah, he actually jumped way too close, so he wasn't getting like the shotgun spread, if you will. So he was like too close, so all of the all the blasts just went right into the butt of Junkrat, which, yeah. Either way, first tribute point will go over to the side of the Granite Gaming. They have 4 kills and nearly about a level lead.
Yeah, almost 1.5 level lead. Right now manifesting as a 2 level disparity between power levels. This is the least balanced we've seen games between these two teams so far. Granite is popping off. Junkrat has been difficult to deal with. And just running you back to the previous Junkrat game, hold a thought, Grubby, is he fine? He is fine. So previously, Junkrat also second pick by Granite. And then they rounded it off with a Johanna pick before Simplicity took their pick. Johanna being the safest tank into Junkrat, because you can Minesweeper with your Iron Skin.
Yep.
This time, Simplicity again didn't pick Johanna in the top 3 picks. After they knew they were against Junkrat, they picked other things. They went Brightwing into Dahaka into Hanzo, so why not pick in Johanna early? And then they banned it. It's almost as if they were saying, you want this Johanna, we're gonna ban it. But that wasn't the point, I feel like, of the Johanna. I feel like the point of the Johanna was not to give it away, essentially as a 4th ban. and so I feel like Simplicity really misunderstood their 3rd ban reason, or why Johanna was picked on Towers of Doom. And then they banned it away, and it's like, well, Granite's like, we're fine with that. We're just banning Johanna because she's the best into Junkrat. Now go ahead and good luck, have fun with Tyrael and Genji, trying to get things done against Chattering, Trap, Junkrat Steel Traps. And what has been almost the reason for every single kill so far? Traps.
Imagine going to check a bush as a Genji and you just get annihilated. I mean, Wailing Arrow was used to make sure they solidify that kill, but because of these multiple kills, because of all, like this constant pressure being applied in the team fights from Granite Gaming, we are going to be seeing 2 tributes over to Granite Gaming, a boss in top lane that is nearly confirming a fort. Actually, it looks like that fort in top lane will go down. Genji jumps in the back line, phase shift from Brightwing, a Nubrak with a burrow charge, connecting onto Porky. Big arrow from Dulal as we have a cocoon onto said Genji. Sanctification will be utilized, concussion mine splitting up Simplicity as Porky's low, needing to back away. Now this objective is huge to the side of Granite Gaming because the waves are so pushed in mid and top. If they get this channel quickly, that Boston top lane will continue. No, it just went down, but still mid lane looking good. And now I'm looking really quickly at the Granite Gaming vision. They see the Genji in mid lane, so they get this tribute, and this will be Boston bottom lane cleared out. What does Granite do here?
Blue team is cursed. Granite Gaming has all the chances in the world. They're starting to work on bottom fort. Clear the minion wave with the lightning shield on Rhaegar, and then they're looking at mid as well. Top is currently facing massive pressure. Among all the possible curse scenarios, this is one of the better ones for Granite. Every single lane is pushed. Sometimes curses are weak because every lane is not pushed, and you get almost nothing out of it. This is going to be a fantastic result. A keep, probably not. We are looking at the boss timers. Of course, those were recently taken, 3 minutes. So maybe every single keep front wall, and depending on what they want to do with their black arrow, maybe they could actually go for a keep.
It is a 13 talent to your advantage now. Genji steps out, phase shift from Brightwing will be here, and Tiger JK drops off Wishing in a good spot. Always drop your Brightwing off in a safe place. Never right into the enemy team's face, but the continued siege, 11 seconds left on the curse. Hogger gets a deep bounce, goes for the shockwave onto Genji, but there's no immediate follow-up. Tiger JK low, but he's really not threatened. Finishes out his level 4 as a big arrow connects again, but no follow-up damage for a kill. Tiger gets the big X strike, but Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas will come through. Big concussion mine splits them out. Wubby chasing in with the bounce. Hogger's looking for something here, but now he needs to leave, and mid lane keep does go down. So Wubby may die here, but a mid lane keep goes down. This is still such a massive win for the side of Granite Gaming, structurally and macroly.
Yep, they still have macaroni and no cheese.
No
you
cheese.
got the macro lead with no cheese, even though it's such a good combo.
Oh man.
But
anyways,
I can tell you a secret, guys. Bahamut is thinking about mac and cheese right now.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoosh.
Whoa,
yeah.
man.
But six forts against 1.5 keeps.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna jinx, but this is a nearly insurmountable advantage for Granite.
Oh, well, Simplicity will now turn things around because Grubby said that, but 13s are here. The dive onto Dual and a cocoon onto Genji. Poik has the black arrows activated. Breeze looking to back away. Wubby does have a shockwave if he really needs to do it. Looking for the angle, looking for the lineup here as the burrow charge comes through. Smexy a little too far from the team. Breeze unable to back away. Grubby, did you just cast her curse? Granite Gaming?
Hey, I didn't ask. Breeze to burrow charge to the right. He could have just burrow charged to the bottom and he'd be fine. They're gonna go try to get a turnaround kill. Tiger JK. Oh, nice sanked. X strike immediately. They're chasing. Another great silence. Poik. Can he get away? It's him against Hanzo. Oh, the heal. Dulal. SMX on the chase. Right
Smexy
wing
wants
goes
the
down.
chase. Poik wants it as well. Double hunting way forward. And a bite to the butt. Hanzo is confirmed dead. We will be seeing the top lane fort pushed in by the Dahaka. But I'm taking stock because I'm sure people are already asking, what's the boss timer? 30 seconds on top, 39 seconds on bottom.
Wubby comes in. Really want to be doing that right now, mate? Greeting for the keep?
Maybe.
Like they are thinking about it. Staggering blow did not connect, but Pummel does much. Tiger JK running away with 700 L, 500, 100, 1, 0.
God dang Granite Gaming. I don't know
Yeah.
where you've been hiding all season, but this is the Granite Gaming I think a lot of us were expecting to see when we saw this roster revealed at the start of the season. And yes, it is our two bottom teams going up against each other, but Granite Gaming, I've said it week to week, this week they are looking possibly their best as they've really rallied in the series. They'll get the curse point, they'll get the tribute point out of 3, and a boss as well. Dahaka brushstock onto a steel trap!
Oh, arrow though.
Arrow connects. Boss is gonna be leashed. We have Breeze over the left side of our screen trying to back away.
Did you see the flying licky tongue Dahaka? That was cool.
I didn't actually see it.
So when he was in the air from concussive, the tongue was still going out
was
and
it?
going back in. I wonder if that could actually work to get a drag tongue like that.
It's like earlier
traps
when
here.
Burden tried to dwarf toss away and he got Umbral Bind pulled back in. The boss is going to be tagged and then leashed once again. 16 talents here, achieved by Simplicity. Next curse point is on the top right of the map, favoring the Granite Gaming side as they lost that fort, as mentioned, through the top lane. Now, seems like we're going to see a boss trade.
Yeah, why not? Granite Gaming wants to play a risk-averse playstyle. They also had to defend the siege camp. Breeze is protecting and detecting any mid-lane rotations as a Nubarak. Boss trade is fine. It threatens top keep. As for Simplicity, what is their game plan? What is their playbook? They go for a knowing boss trade. They will try to put everyone on defending the boss, mitigating keep damage, making sure they start laying out plan step number 1 of getting a comeback. They're opening up bottom, getting a fort, hopefully getting a keep wall, so that maybe, just maybe, if Simplicity can get a hero kill, they can kill bottom keep and end.
It's possible. Berber misses the isolation. Breeze and friends are playing around the steel trap. The Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas does go out. A shockwave is going to be mitigated on the Hogger as he's on a 10-second cooldown. There was a polymorph from the
Holy
Brightwing.
Grant.
Nice steal attempt, but it doesn't work out. Oh, the snipe onto that Junkrat. He will fall, and it looks like bosses have arrived to keeps, but this will be objective to the side of Simplicity.
Boss with a big minion wave bot, but it's gonna get cleared now by Poik and Wubby and SMX. No minion wave top, so it doesn't do as much, but it's still gonna take down probably all the way till Keep has 15% health left or less. It's gonna be a little bit more because they do good damage here. 20%, 25% health left on the Keep, maybe 30 even if we're being generous. There is the opening up of the bottom Keep wall though for Simplicity, bottom lane. So, any kill that Simplicity get, they could try to at least get bottom Keep. But I'm thinking it's a 3-step plan for Simplicity to get back in. First kill gets the Keep. First you need a kill.
Yep.
Then the kill gets the Keep. And then you need another victory to get the core. That's where Simplicity is at right now. For Granite, it's much simpler. They can win by doing nothing. They can win by doing a fight.
And you know what? Why nothing? Why nothing? For anyone that might be new, why is nothing? I mean, what, the core is just going to fall over on its own, or do we have some sort of mechanic in the game?
Core health does not go up over time, but catapult damage does. They become increasingly more dangerous when left alone. Every 20 seconds, a minion wave spawns in lanes with no keeps. So more and more catapults will build up, and it becomes a harder and harder problem to ignore for Simplicity. If Poik and his friends play for defense, they can absolutely just win the game by minions, and we call them winions.
Our lovely Winion friends. 1-to-1 in tribute points, 20 talents here, an 1/8 of a level, maybe a 16th of a level away, as that's a lot of damage onto Tiger JK as we do get the phase shift from the Brightwing. Ancestor healing onto Smexy will connect. No Farseers because no level 20. Riptire from the Junkrat will be utilized. He doesn't have any extra oomph as we do have those talents being picked up right now. Got the no control, the blink from the Sylvanas, the cannonball from the Junkrat. Rewind on the Anub'arak and Rhaegar. The assumption is going to be Farseer's Blessing, but we have seen Pit Fighter from time to time. Smexy gets the channel, and it is...
It took
control.
Pit Fighter on Towers of Doom, and there's also no reason to take Farseer's Blessing until 67 seconds from now when Ancestral is available again. If you think you need any talent at all, be it Pit Fighter or Elemental Conduit with the small Storm Shields, why pick Farseer's Blessing before you can use it? This is a mistake Storm Leaguers are permitted to make, but not a World Championship winning, former World Championship winning Rhaegar player that knows better than that. So he will not pick yet. If he thinks he's in a team fight in the next 30 seconds that may decide the game, he might get Pit Fighter or Elemental Conduit. Oh, no, never mind. He made the mistake. He did the thing. He picked it, even though he can't use it yet. Damn it, SMX.
GG, that's it. Simplicity should win the series right here. Now, we're 20s up apiece, 4 to 8 in kills. It's looking tense right now as both teams are kind of postured around the next objective. It hasn't even been announced, but we're all kind of floating around over here. Simplicity want to deny the curse against them, and here comes a oh no, goodbye Tyrael. He's gonna try and get some cooldown reduction on his death timer, but I don't think he actually hit anyone right there. Riptire from Junkrat connects onto the Hanzo as he will fall. Berber getting the phase shift from the Brightwing. Cocoon does come through. Berber tunnels away. He tries to get the isolation. He does land the contagion value, wishing, and friends are trying to make the counterplay happen. There's the no control from the Hogger. He's locked in onto Wishing. That's him to go down. That's Tiger JK to fall. Alone Dahaka tries to back out, but 5 kills will be achieved by the members of Granite Gaming. And Granite Gaming, ladies and gentlemen, will end the series. They reverse sweep, they take this series, and they take their first victory in HeroesCCL Season 4. GG, well played, Granite Gaming. A strong reverse sweep as they currently dust up this core. Well played. Beautifully played by Granite Gaming, honestly, at the end right there. I really think this map was the best we've seen Granite Gaming synergize, execute, and I mean, those wombos, the single target wombos were beautiful.
Yeah, nice blow up there on Tyrael at the very end. They had a kind of impenetrable defense with the Junkrat traps over the watchtower, and without vision, it was so hard for Simplicity to play into that. And they didn't have the Johanna with the Unstoppable. They could have picked it earlier. They decided to go for something else, and it looked good a couple of times with Hanzo engaged into X-Strike. But do you think there was a way for Simplicity to win here, Justin?
It's definitely possible, but it would have taken nearly perfect execution. They would have needed to probably try to get into the backline all together as a team. You have the Hanzo arrow. You probably do need the Dragon Blade, but you need to combo that with your Sanctification, because otherwise the Genji's just gonna get put in a cocoon. It's definitely a difficult situation to be in, and you need to be able to one-shot the Rhaegar. You have to look for arrows on the Rhaegar and just one-shot him with everything all together at the same exact time. But that's very hard to do when you're behind on the macro everywhere all the time, which was kind of the case for that game, where they lost the first objective and are instantly down 1.5 levels just immediately on the map. That was kind of Granite showing how they take a tiny advantage and instantly turn it into something huge. I would say that Granite, as the season has progressed, feels like the team that so far from the first game to now has improved the most. They've taken games off of every series they've been in, I believe. They've taken one game off of everybody, and it feels like they're really learning against each team. This series, they were down 0-2. They made massive changes in their playstyle to be able to get the reverse sweep. Granted, scaling as the season progresses. It's they have these players with these huge names that we expect so much from, and to see what they did in week 1 to what they're doing right now in this last game, it's very cool to watch. It's cool to see them kind of relearning the game, how all the changes how much all the changes have changed the game. It's just really cool to see the progression from week 1 to now for Granite, and I'm excited to see off of this what they can do going forward if they can continue to scale up like that, because I mean, Simplicity looks better too. they got their 2 wins, they got their first wins, but Granite looking just much stronger. And Granite looking like this might not be a one-time occurrence. It looks like they're really making like big fundamental strides in the way that they're playing the game. Like they've found a bit of a play style that they didn't have previously, and it's cool to see the growth of Granite Gaming.
Well, we've actually got Smexy on the line right now, so let's actually ask him a couple questions about his victory. How you doing, my friend? How does it feel to win your series today?
We're champions of the world.
Well, there you go. Absolutely, it feels good. Feels good to reverse sweep. I do want to ask you before I throw it over to Grubby and Justin. What were the comms like getting into map number 3? You're down in the series. They could 3-0 you. Simplicity. Do you rally? Do you joke around? How do you kind of there was such a dynamic shift in your playstyle getting into Battlefield of Eternity. So was there anything you guys talked about, or was it just like let's hunker down and let's play our roles sort of thing?
Well, we were joking a lot, and then we had this brilliant idea, ban Mayev, and then it kind of worked out.
Easy enough.
I mean, it's a bit of both, right? Joking, strategy.
Okay.
A good mix,
always,
so to say.
It's always kind of good to kind of find out what like the players are thinking and feeling in those moments, because I mean we can't hear or see any of that, so it's just very interesting. But of course, Justin, any questions for Smexy?
Yep, congratulations on your first series. And the biggest thing to me is it really feels like you guys started playing a little bit differently after the first 2 games, and you guys have been playing a bit differently overall. What kind of has been the biggest struggle to relearn the game? What do you think is the change that is really, as you guys are like relearning the game now, I guess just like what do you think is the biggest difference from before that you guys are kind of needing to adapt to, because obviously the game's not the same now, right? The XP change has changed a lot.
I think there are 2 clear parts. One being like the draft and the meta. We kind of lag behind. We don't play as much as other people do. So we just kind of have to figure that out, what the power picks are and such. I feel like we had a good grasp today. I think we could have won all games. The second part is really just we thought we had to plan around Azerite. He would be like the anchor of the team in a bad way, you know. He would drag us down. But actually, Breeze is equally anchoring us. So it's a bit rough, but we're learning to play around them. It's just what we have to do. So I think over time we'll just keep getting better, honestly.
All right.
I think it's very noble of you to play with people like Breeze.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And to lift them up.
Yeah, we just have to make his day somehow, right? Yeah.
That's nice for him. I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see you back in competitive HoTS as well, SMX. What role does CCL have for you right now in your life, also comparing to like way back when?
I mean, it's obviously it used to be my job and everything, right? When I played HoTS in HCC and stuff. Now it's a very fun thing on the side. That's honestly what it has to be. Get together with friends, play, try to win. And I mean, I still stand behind that. I think we're the best team if we go to LAN. Like I said in the interview that was said like a couple of weeks ago, even if we're 0-4, I don't care. Like, get us to LAN. We get some more games in, we're gonna win that shit. I'm sure.
Okay. That's awesome. You're thinking of the LAN. That's really cool. Next week, you have a match against Wildheart.
Yep.
What do you think?
I mean, I think we're in a much better spot now than the first time. And the previous week. So honestly, who knows? I think we got something good going. I think we found our style, like you guys said. We're playing a bit more together and just gelling with each other. So I'm hopeful. I don't dare to predict anything, but I'm hopeful. I think we're just aiming for the gauntlet at this point, right? We had a rough start, so we just gotta get it going for the gauntlet. And anything up until then is just gonna be about improvement and learning to play together and stuff.
Well, you definitely got a couple more weeks of round robin play and then that week off to continue to scrim. So we wish you all the best in your preparation for week number 6 up against Wildheart and in your future games. Before we let you skedaddle, any shouts that you'd like to give?
Shout out to Granite Gaming. Shout out to Alliance. That's where I work right now. And shout out to Quacknix, our sub player. He just had his first baby 2 days ago, I think. So he's a father now. So congrats, Quack, the official dad of HoTS. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Smixy, for joining us. You have a wonderful evening. Go celebrate, and we'll see you next weekend up against Wildheart Esports. He's so pumped. He's so pumped, and I can't blame him. I mean, you get that victory in CCL. Like, I definitely can feel that energy coming out from him. So it was really, really nice. Great to have that interview with him, and congratulations. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, Granite Gaming takes their first series victory. They are going to have a record of 1-4. Simplicity will be 0-5, though Simplicity did pick up a couple map wins, so they don't sit, well, winless in the season anymore. So overall, things are looking pretty good as we take a look at the standings for the day. Grubby, could you break down what we have seen?
I sure hope so. We are halfway the weekend, so some teams have played more than others. 30K has already increased their lead to a 5-0. We will see our 4-match teams play tomorrow. We'll see if Wildheart or Chili Mountain takes the lead here. They're playing against each other, so there will be a clear second place after that. Storm Esports just won their first match last weekend. We'll see if they can increase that as they go up against Oxygen. Simplicity still winless. Granite Gaming takes their first. A very brave statement coming from SMX that he says he thinks they are the best if they get to LAN despite being in that 7th slot. They don't seem too bothered. I like the Warriors' attitude.
Yep.
Let's see if they can do it. We're getting closer and closer to the gauntlet.
We have, we have tomorrow's games, which we can actually take a look at now. We've got weeks 6 and 7 as well. But looking to tomorrow's games, we'll have Sunday, June 12th, Wildheart Esports up against Chili Mountain and Oxygen Esports up against Storm Esports. Both of these matches, to me, Justing, are winners in the sense of you come to HeroesCCL tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. PDT, 2 o'clock EDT, and 20 CEST, and you will see 2 amazing best-of-5s. Am I right?
You are absolutely right. And both these teams right next to each other in the standings, so it's going to be super important for all of these teams. Every single one of them is looking at this match as one of the most important, if not the most important for them, since they are going to be right next to each other in the standings. That just increases the level of importance of that match. Wildheart versus Chili Mountain especially, both these teams look like they could be contending for the first place by the end of the season, so super duper important for both of them.
Yeah, the Wildheart Esports has a 3-1 record like Chili Mountain. The map score, the difference for anyone wondering, Wildheart Esports has a 10-4 record, meaning they're +6, and Chili Mountain has a record of 9-4. They are +5 maps. So it is extremely close tomorrow for Wildheart Esports versus Chili Mountain. I am really looking forward to that matchup. Oxygen and Storm Esports, for anyone wondering, Oxygen record 7-7, Storm Esports 7-10, and respectively 2-2 for Oxygen, 1-3 for the members of Storm Esports. But we're not done talking about Here's the Storm, ladies and gentlemen, because it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the day. Grubby, are you ready? Is it your favorite segment?
I just want to hear what you're naming it today, you guys.
All right. Well, everyone's ready to go to listen to Justing's big breakdown of the day presented by Wisdom.
Yep, the big breakdown of the day presented by Wisdom will be coming at you right now as we see Granite Gaming on Towers of Doom, the team fight that kind of began the end of this game and began the official reverse sweep. You have Porky jumping into the backline onto Azerite as Granite is looking for the invade. Watch Granite look to turn. They get the turn, they get the BFG on 3 members, you get the Shockwave, you get the Blessed Shield. Just barely Sylvanas is able to limp away here at the edge of the fight. As Porky's now 1v1 with Azerite, he gets over the wall at the last moment as Wubby and SMX come to delete Porky. You get a 3-for-0, but what's more important than the team fight is how they take this 3-for-0 and transition it into an eventual 6 cap, where they go from 20 shots on the opposing side to 0 and close out the game. Just the way that Granite Gaming has not only taken a small advantage and turned it into a large one, but also being able to start winning the team fights. That was kind of the first time where they won a team fight decisively, and they win the entire game off of it, taking half of the 40 shots that you start with just off of that 3-for-0. So Granite Gaming looking super spooky.
I was kind of hoping that your play of the day was going to be the core fail from Sky Temple. I'm not going to lie, because I may or may not be putting that into our weekly recap, the pre-show, because honestly, that was just such a fun moment. But either way, thank you, of course, Justin, for the big breakdown of the day, and really, really cool stuff that we did see. Now, of course, as always, we like to do this at the end of the series. I wanted to get some takeaways from both of you. It can be, oh man, it's great to see a win, or it could be as deep as your thoughts on the future of one of these teams. But of course, Grubby, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts, takeaways from the matchup, the day, the games, anything?
Yeah, I still think both Simplicity and Granite Gaming have won their premiere here. I know it's kind of a meme and Simplicity won it more, but they got their first map victories. I think they can do much for confidence and morale going forward. Still, it does feel like it hinged much on Tiger JK's Maiev.
Yeah.
You could even see it in a very literal sense during the game, where you would have everyone pouncing on top of Simplicity, where it was literally a Warden's Cage with like 5 fan of knives that would turn it around. You're gonna need more high threat picks that can kind of carry here to get the victory. Maybe Porky can like specialize in stitches, then he can kind of carry as well in some of those games, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm very happy for both teams. Granite Gaming look cool. I like their attitude after what is still their league score. So I think that's a nice champion's attitude. And yeah, I wish all the teams the best. But ultimately, we only have 4 going to the finals. But yeah, I like that. I like the reverse sweep here the most.
Yeah, it was fun. Justin, any takeaways?
Yeah, Granite Gaming, it feels that here is where they're going to make their stand in the season if they start to mount a comeback on a kind of larger scale outside of just the series overall. This feels like this is where they would do it. They lose their 2 games to Simplicity, giving them their first wins. Feels fitting for that to be the series that you reverse sweep and begin your own kind of climb up if you are Granite. So I'm excited to see what Granite does next week. I'm hoping that we see more improvement from them. And on the other series, 30K, 5-0, kind of undisputed NA super team right now. And I like to see that. I like to see the expectations actually, becoming true. When you have a quote super team, a lot of the time they fall flat. 30K this season, not falling flat, 5-0. Love to see it.
And we could see them end the season 7-0, but there's more weeks to play for them to, play. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon or morning, depending on your time zone, with those 2 best of 5s for all of you, Wildheart Esports versus Chili Mountain, and we'll see Oxygen Esports up against Storm Esports. It has been a fantastic day of HeroesCCL action. The big takeaway that I need to really drive home with a lot of you, if you ban Cho, you deserve to lose, specifically on Tomb of the Spider Queen 30K. So, thank you everyone for watching HeroesCCL. We'll be back tomorrow at the time below the screen. And until then, from Justin, Grubby, myself, the Wisdom family, and the production crew, we thank you for supporting, watching, and cheering on HeroesCCL. We'll be back on Sunday, June 12th for more action. Until then, stay safe, drink a glass of water, and we'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.